Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Before we get cracking on with the continuation from yesterday's show, which is Has Spurs Debunked Gas Pressure with a YouTube video, I'm going to shout out all of the people who support me on Patreon. So a massive shout out to Alistair, Billy Highvolt, Burn Fat Till My Stomach Is As Flat As the Earth, Chow Young Cat, Dank, David Wayne Foster, Edwin Johnson, Felix Hung, Fireball X, Godrockin, Jeronism, Kirsten Smith, Life is Short, Matt, Michael, Page, Qatar Craig, Reinhardt, Renee, Sam Hain, Sweet Equity, Texas Mike, theflatearthchannel.com and Tina Baker. A massive thank you. All of you. So, previously on Flat Earth Debate, Spurs decides that he can debunk gas pressure and atmospheric limits. What have you got to say for yourself, Spurs? Can you tell us about the video that you're about to play and how it debunks gas pressure?
Yeah, I mean, it demonstrates the claim of a press is not present. It shows clearly which forces are at play. Talking about forces, this is the key, you see. You already heard a sneak preview from Flatzoid. He spoke about negative pressure. I don't know if he meant to say that, but he's on the right path. And yeah, this video will validate whether there is a press or a pull, you see. But yeah, that will be for the future.
So come on, are we doing this now? Are we having Flatzoid or Nathan being the sacrificial lamb?
Well, I think Anthony should do it.
I can't honestly argue this because I'm 50-50 on it. Hang on, Nathan, you absolutely think you said it before, you absolutely think there's atmospheric pressure pushing up on it, absolutely, because it happens in all directions. Why aren't you the sacrificial lamb? Just for this, even if it's just for being a good sport.
It says the guy who's had a minor hiatus, you know, got shacked up, all the new house stuff. Me, I've spent the last 6 weeks arguing this shit with the guy. You do it.
He seems like you're bottling it a little bit.
Oh, right. You think that's going to work on me, Anthony? I don't think so, mate.
Again, there is no pressure on you or in reality or anybody to discuss this. This is more of a ball earther argument. They believe gravity, pressure, forces that don't exist. This, again, I think if this is demonstrated in front of the ball earther, the flat earther would have to reconsider also. So it affects everybody. And yeah, it's definitely temperature is the key here. You do have pressure inside a container. But outside a container,
I like what you did there, Spurs. You want to argue about pressure, but no pressure.
What he's saying is, his statement was, we do have gas pressure inside a container, but outside a container. Now, he didn't complete that statement, but his implication, his inference, is that if you've got a Tupperware tub, well, that's got pressure inside it. But outside, no, there's no pressure. Not that there's pressure inside and pressure outside, which is obvious. No, he's got the ludicrous notion that the Tupperware container can have pressure, but everything around it doesn't. It's absolutely preposterous. But Anthony wants me to play some devil's advocate against this absolutely garbage argument. He's not been here for a while.
I didn't say.
I want Anthony to do it.
Pressure inside.
50-50. I'm just going to spin that and say, well, if you're 50-50 on it, you're the perfect person to have this argument with him.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't think that I'm not totally persuaded that there is atmospheric pressure pushing up on it the way it's described. So I've always wondered why it does that.
You're a gas denier then.
Hold on.
We haven't even got to. If you're just going to assume that the only thing that keeps that water in is the pressure of the air from underneath pressing up, well, no, there's many more factors in play.
That would be true. Is the gas pressure pushing up on it one of them?
Number one, we're not
Don't worry.
dealing in this example with how. Number one, this example isn't addressing gas. It's addressing the nature of the fluid, the liquid, and what it does. So this is a massive red herring.
Nathan, I just made a video that proves there is gas pressure. It's on Masterby.
Right, so can Flatzoid not have this conversation then with Spurs? I want to see what
I've got to
Spurs
go now,
would say.
anyway. We'll do it later, or probably tomorrow.
You want to do it when we're live, I suspect, right, Spurs?
Yeah. I mean, I've got to go now for now. We're back in an hour or so, but I've got to shoot off now. But yeah, we'll get into it later. I mean, like I said, this is one of the biggest
we'll still be
questions
live. Yeah, we'll still be live if you can read.
Spurs, you should plug your little debate you're gonna have later.
My what? Sorry.
Your little debate that you're gonna have later. You should plug that.
I know.
George, I phoned someone's boss on the internet because I thought he was wrong on the internet. Do you mean that guy?
George
Netanyahu.
George Netanyahu, yeah.
Yeah, George, I phoned someone's boss on the internet because I thought he was wrong and tried to get him sacked. That guy.
That George, yeah. Yeah.
Shout out to George.
So 7 p.m. doing a presentation on my show tonight, and hopefully Spurs will get to challenge him on gas pressure.
Yeah, so right after Ranties, I'll be on Flat Earth Initiative with another debate. Again, another crowd wants to question me about this gas pressure. I mean, last night, Chocolate was just insane. It started to get violent. I just thought, I'm getting out of here. Right? It started off very...
Question or lynch?
It was like a lynching. It was unbelievable. And I had answers for everything. Or not everything, but almost everything. And people were not happy that there's an answer for these things.
Well, I'll be honest. One of their big complaints was that you didn't have answers for things. So you're gonna have to address that, because you might think you're answering stuff, but there are times you don't really answer. And when someone asks you a question that they might get you on, you're very quiet, and then you change the question.
Yes, because what happens?
You know, I'm just calling it as I see.
You're right. But what happens is it turns into a game show. They realize that I'm cornering them. So they just start using trivia to show what you know. They're like, "Oh, what do you know about
Did you do that? Did you do that?
Well,
right, and that's
what are those
does.
times again? Because I need to clear my schedule.
Anyway, I'm gonna get off now.
This will be on the Friday Night Fights tonight on what's his channel? Dr. Science. That's the name of the channel. Oh, well, I don't know. I think Spurs has multiple appointments today. I don't know. He's on tour. He's on a gas pressure denial tour right now. Like, that's what he called it. So
yeah, it's the no pressure tour. Chocolate, the no pressure tour.
No pressure tour. I like that.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join this discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcomed back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now, we are joined by Arwin, Sleeping Warrior, Ranty Flat Earth, Chocolate Saying, Flatzoid, and those are pretty much it in the Google Plus. How you doing?
Hey.
Hey.
Yo.
Hello.
Did Rage win there?
Hello. We're also joined.
Right to you.
We're also joined by a whole bunch of people in the Discord server. Too many to even introduce, but hello everybody in Discord.
So, housekeeping questions really quick.
Any signs of Earth curvature?
No.
0.
Yes.
Any obstructions, curve?
Hold
and
on,
then
I had a
listen
yes. I had a yes. Who said yes?
Yes. Yes. There is signs of Earth curvature, and it can be proven.
What?
I have a video. You guys want to present?
Yeah, obviously.
Okay, so how I prove the Earth is round with my bike and 2 sticks.
I thought you were serious.
Genuinely. This is a guy with 130,000 subscribers. It's been viewed nearly 2 million times. How I prove the Earth is round with my bike and 2 sticks. And
Bloody hell.
what, that? His face or the claim?
It looks like he's in the middle of his
Hey, you shut up. Right, I'm not having that. Ranty, just give your example.
So
Can we stop sniggering, right? Just because he's got
Gotta
cum
love
face, I
Fridays,
don't want to
baby.
hear it. Just get on with it.
So basically, he leaves his friend at the start. So here he is at the start, and he's attached this device to his bike. And what he's going to do is he's left his friend with the same device at the start. He's going to cycle like 130 kilometers, and he gets to the end, and basically he does a lot of maths, a bit of trigonometry, and he figures out the shape of the Earth. So basically, he does the Eratosthenes experiment.
What you should do is put him in touch with that AB Science, and AB Science will give him massive shout outs and just tell his audience how wonderful he is by proving something with just a measurement.
So what they do, they line these sticks up, all facing the same direction. So when the sun reaches a certain time, they're able to measure the amount of centimeters that the shadow shows on the stick. They're an identical piece of equipment, and then by claiming that they have a different distance, the shadows have a different length, that clearly proves the Earth is a globe. And he specifically states this in his video.
Does he show the mathematics that he used to calculate it?
Yeah, he writes it on the floor.
Oh, brilliant. Let's have a look at those, please.
Okay. I don't want to play the video because with him having so many subscribers, he might take offense, but let's have a look. See, he writes them on the floor. I'm trying to get a part. He puts all these with the tannin and everything like that, 55 degrees, etc. I mean, you guys can go and check this.
Just read out the whole formula for us.
Here we go. Wait. Circumference. There we go. So he's got a circumference in. There we go.
I can only see part of it.
That's part of the formula. Yeah, it doesn't actually show it all on one particular piece, but essentially by using 2 sticks on the floor.
Hold on, you're whistling past my bit. So you had it on screen earlier, so it's been dedicated to the recording of RP. He had an R value in there. Where did he get that from? Did he derive it from this circumference? What's he doing exactly? He's measuring shadows, right?
Yeah, he measures 2 shadows at the same time, and because they have a different length, even though they're facing the same direction, he claims that is proof that the Earth is a sphere. My contention would be that obviously that could equally apply to a local sun. Doesn't prove a sphere at all.
Well, no, he had an R value that he inserted at the beginning.
Where was that?
Scribbled in chalk on a playground floor.
Here, this R.
Yeah, where did he get that from?
It's interesting. I thought you guys. I did actually post it in the Skype groups that we're in, but nobody's mentioned it. Nobody's replied to it, even though I've put this in yesterday. But you guys might have had a chance to watch it.
Yeah, it's deceiving too. He's drawn a straight line. This 70 centimeters. Oh, maybe this is just an example of basic planar trig. which he's not using. He'd be using spherical trig now, wouldn't he? Interesting.
So why would that side of the triangle that he's got as a straight line actually be straight if it's curved?
Yeah, that was my point precisely. That's plain.
Might be worth it. Might be worth a toe.
Because we got straight curves in 2019, baby.
And that would then open up the angle by a few more degrees, and then it would make it a very local sun.
It could be a toe tag though for you, Nathan. That was the whole point. I thought it might be.
Send him a request, Nathan, like in the form of like a flat Earth summons, where you challenge him to come onto your show and say, present your case, and then allow us to rebut it, and then we'll toe tag you as you leave.
Okay. What's his name?
Right.
Curtis Bort with 131,000 subscribers.
What we'd like to know is if you're performing spherical.
And one question will destroy the guy.
Well, I'll just put it out as a question. So if you're using spherical trig, where did you get the R value from? That's my question.
Yep, that's the question.
Anyway, so that's the claim that the Earth does have an R value.
Right. Okay. Because he wrote R on the ground.
Well, I mean, it's overtly stated if you look up the examples for I can never say his name very well either. Aristophanes. How bad was that? Aristophanes. Anyway, if you look it up, it makes it quite clear that he assumes R. It's quite overt in the example.
Yes.
That's a big problem. Isn't that what you're trying to prove? I mean, at this point, if he was on the show, I would launch into calling him a fucking retard. So you're telling us this is an example of you proving the globe, but you're assuming it's a globe and using spherical trigonometry.
Well, let me tell you how he actually came to that conclusion. As soon as he measured the two different shadow lengths, as soon as he got confirmation by his friend that it was a different shadow length, he said, "And there we have it, proof that the Earth is a sphere."
So he didn't run the mathematics there and show you there and then that he's including an R value and performing spherical trig, assuming that it's a sphere to begin with, in the same way it was done originally. You know, that wasn't the origin of the assumption of R. He just utilised R. Now, back in the day, 2014, you got Red Rhetoric overtly putting it up on his videos, and then you put in R. Oh, yeah. Why? Isn't that what you're trying to prove? That's why Red Rhetoric will never, ever, ever come here.
Not in his real account anyway. Shout out to the sub accounts that I'm sure he uses on here.
And
shout out Retractor.
Shout out to the after show. Tune in to listen to Arwin losing his shit.
Shut the fuck up, you fucking asshole.
No swearing.
Wow.
Kick people. Chill the hell out. Right. Anyway. So thank you for that, Runty. Excellent. I won't be chewing it out now that that's happened. Any signs of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
Nope.
Nothing here. Sorry.
Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth? Presupposed meaning they used R, by the way. Whoever that guy was we just talked about.
No.
Any scientific evidence of gravity?
No. Scientific evidence of what?
Gravity? Scientific evidence thereof. Just for the audience. There isn't any. There is no scientific evidence of gravity.
No.
Shocking, isn't it?
G.
But we have a claim from Bob the Science Guy who says you can't read the formula properly in the chat.
You mean Bob the fallacy guy? The guy that doesn't think you have...
Appeal to format fallacy. Yeah. It was scrawled on a floor in chalk.
You mean Bob the fallacy guy? The one that doesn't think that you have to manipulate the independent variable in a scientific experiment to prove a cause and effect relationship? Do you mean that guy, Ranty?
He hasn't got back to me about my conditional acceptance that all the trolls came here to tell me about. But there we go. We'll see.
It's the guy that's doing the 10 questions, the 10 questions of the globe housekeeping questions. So he's reformatting them into into questions. So I'm looking forward to actually seeing them. So I want to keep him on side till then, at least.
Just to restate what Ranty's just stated. So Bob the fallacy guy is taking the quote globe Earth housekeeping questions, and he's going to turn them into questions. Just to reiterate that.
Mr. Cygnus Octaris. What a clown, guys. Twice dead.
And he actually thinks, he talks about it as though you can see it as well, you know. Have you noticed?
He's scary retarded.
He's dumb.
Did you mean Cygnus Octantis?
Yeah, Cygnus
Octaris. Get it right.
Well, Bob the science guy says, "You coming to debate me, Nathan?" I don't think he does. I don't think he leaves. You don't debate on other people's channels.
Hold on, Ranty. Hold on. Don't speak for me. I've offered Bob a conditional acceptance. I've asked the trolls, who are the people who initially asked me, as opposed to you, Bob. You know, I don't really understand why little flapping monkeys came to ask me that. I don't watch your shit. I have no idea what you're challenging me on. Nevertheless, I did offer to the trolls and asked them specifically to go and tell you what my conditional acceptance was and the terms thereof. So clearly you haven't had that. Ask your trolls and your flying monkeys, mate. On the other hand, it's hard to say this, we've got 15 people in Discord. Yeah, if I run a show daily and you're here and the door's open to anybody, Bob. So I offer my platform for you to come, and you're here now. But yet you want to offer me terms to debate you. I don't want to debate. I couldn't give a shit. You can debate me, though, right now, you fucking coward. You just have to join. But you want terms, don't you, you little pussy bitch? Like most of the globeheads we hand their ass to. You want terms. Like I give a shit that you want to debate me. I don't care, Bob. You're a nobody to me. I mean, I hear the rumours of you being some pervert that's been taken to court from PMARS. I don't know if that's true. I don't care. But to me, you're a nobody, and I don't care what you want. But if you want to debate me, you can, can't you, Bob? Yeah? So suck it up, you little pussy bitch, and step in here or meet my terms. I'll lay them out if you like. They're pretty filthy.
He was already on here with the debate. Check the toe tag list.
Yeah, I think he's 7 to 8. Toe tagged already. Corpses asking us to meet their terms.
Yeah, he told that himself.
What's the 3 constituent parts of an experiment, Mr. Science Bob? Let me see what I can pick. The null hypothesis. You freaking retard. Go. I can't believe you're even here.
Only when you got that.
Oh, somebody not on mute. Should we have a listen?
Yeah.
Oh no, it was short-lived. So anyway, yeah, Bob's been toe tagged, and as you say, when asked for the 3 constituent parts of the scientific method, he said null hypothesis.
No, of an experiment.
Of an experiment, sorry, slip of the tongue.
But yeah, he said, let
Bob
me
the fallacy
see
guy?
which ones. Now, let me see which ones I can pick. Like there was a multiple choice list. He was busy Googling, right? Friggin' clown show. You need to go back to picking up cans alongside of the road. Supervised.
Yeah, that's the best bit. That gets quotes in the chat now. When that goes out, everyone will be there. Quote, supervised.
I love it.
He said it to Kosho the other day on Ballbusters repeat that I had up. And he's just picking up cans on the side of the road. He's not supervised. So, respect to Kosho.
Supervisor, when you need that extra help.
Yeah, it's the implication, is it? The implication is that you can't even be held responsible for picking up cans on the side of the road. You need supervision.
Don't give it away.
So, I think we nearly got there with housekeeping. Any evidence of gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container?
No. None whatsoever.
You know what it is.
Unicorn farts.
What is? Define is right now!
All right, I'll tell you. It's the terror of knowing what the world is about, man. Watching some good friends screaming, "Let me out! Play tomorrow gets me higher. Pressure on people, people on the streets. Da 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 da."
Diddle-dum-dum-dum.
What the?
Have you had your medications today, John?
Wow, it's Friday for real out here.
Queen, respect Queen. Under pressure. Yeah, Spurs. I promised people the continuation of that conversation. He buggered off during my intro.
Well, I did make a video for him showing pressure, so
Did you want to go through that now?
that one with the cup. I did my own
Yeah, it's on
demonstration
Master B. Yeah.
just to prove that.
I don't think we all have enough patience put together to handle Spurs.
Say again, Rogers.
No, I think that was Fenris, I think is his name.
Fenris. Oh, go ahead, Fenris.
I think. I don't know.
I'd still like to get the 10 housekeeping questions of the globe.
Any
as well.
evidence of the R value, Earth radius? Oh, you said 10 questions.
Yeah.
Do you mean you want to cover the globe head questions?
No, well, when they're actually formatted, yes.
You mean when they're actually questions?
Yeah.
Hey, they got pummeled,
There's
right?
still a
And
lot
then
of
they
work
changed
there.
them. They changed the questions after some people pummeled them. Oh, we got to adjust those. Wait a second. What a bunch of clowns.
Yeah, we don't tend to make any alterations to our questions, do we?
Oh, the
Nope.
nature of
We just keep adding more.
Shape of
They
the
had
Earth.
to change theirs after one day.
Yeah, one day we had a look at it cursory glance. They were all being changed. They need help from Bob.
Yeah, it didn't turn out well.
I don't know. We did adapt our housekeeping questions a little as well. Like
Did we?
just minor details in the
Yeah,
way
I
we
suppose.
pronounced it and all.
Added on words like necessary antecedent for those people who don't appreciate antecedent consequent relationships.
Yeah, but we didn't wait for the answers to the dang questions to change them.
What answers? Answers? You haven't laughed.
Exactly.
Yeah, we had answers to all 10 of their questions on the spot. We argued about who should have the best pummeling of each answer. Meanwhile, what is it, 12 months of housekeeping? We haven't had any answers. There is no scientific evidence of gravity. There is no Earth curve. Axial rotation is a non-existent presupposition, using and affirming the consequent formal logical fallacy and lights in the sky. We don't have any examples whatsoever of gas pressure without the antecedent of a container. Molten iron core is an absolute joke. R values assumed. What else do you need? There's no answers to these. It's just the demolition of the fundy belief in a globe every morning. Well, for the Americans at least.
I missed the first 6, man.
You missed the first 6. Do you want to go through them, Ranty?
I think I missed the first 6.
Down
give
the
me a
ball,
second.
Ranty is. He runs a show, so I'm reckoning he's going to get this up before I finish this sentence. We shall see how slick he is.
Yeah, you might not.
While he's doing it,
might
though,
not.
well, as you're doing it, big shout out to Ranty. Ranty's doing exceptionally well. As YouTubers go, he's put his heart and soul into it, and recently he had some substantial super chats as well, which well deserved. I just want to point out for all those people who might moan at him for his substantial super chats he had on one of his recent shows, Ranty's been doing this for quite a long time at a massive loss. And everyone always immediately forgets about that when someone's had a few decent super chats. Just a quick reminder. The amount of time Ranty and others, not just Ranty, that have spent in this arena just doing their stuff, paying the money to do it, and without any return at all, doesn't mean that they should have any sort of grief whatsoever when they've had a small modicum of success in a short period of time. Yeah, let's not forget about the 3 years that preceded it. Just anyway, Ranty, let's have a listen. Number 1. Your ears pricked up, are they, Quantum Eraser?
Yeah, they pricked up all right.
You need me to share it, or are you okay with it just verbally from Ranty?
How about paying attention to time slots?
Oh, God. You weren't even supposed to be on that day, you realise. I would keep your mouth shut about that, but that's just my advice.
All right, I'll keep my mouth shut. Go ahead, number 1.
Just like tonight when you got your schedule again. overlapping.
Oh, no,
Somebody's watching my schedule.
So anyway, we've got these housekeeping questions for the benefit of the audience, and they've come from Ranty's channel. Kudos again to Ranty's channel's excellent. Subscribe today to Ranty Flat Earth. And on his channel, he offered up his platform for all the Globers to have a chit-chat, because he's done it previously and it's been Flat Earthers. And during the conversation, I think it was Dean that passed you these, correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, no, it was the Rumpus that presented them, but Dean had written them.
So Rumpus managed to fail to formulate questions and passed them on to Ranty, who then passed them on to us, and then at a cursory glance we went through and basically crapped all over them. But then QE joined at about number 7, so we're going to go through them again now. Hopefully all of them, we'll see. Maybe or just the first 6, we'll see. Do you want to start reading them out if you don't mind, Ranty?
Does he have them up on screen?
Yeah. Do you need? I just asked. Do you want me to share them?
Please.
Yeah. Okay. Just give me a second. If you can start, Ranty, I'll fiddle the rest of the technical stuff. While doing it.
This obviously isn't the final draft. This is draft 2. So draft 1 was a little more sparse than this, especially on question 2. Because question 2 we annihilated and then they changed it, and then Tony annihilated it and then they changed it again. So anyway, question 1. Evidence of a lunar eclipse being possible on FE.
Say that one more time.
Evidence of a lunar eclipse being possible on a flat Earth.
I only gave you a one-word answer. What would you say?
Why wouldn't it be?
More concise.
You gonna limit me to one word?
Yes. There's a hint.
Horse shit. I can't see the questions. They're too small. Nathan, can you make those things bigger?
Too big.
Yeah, right there.
Really good.
Being evidence of a lunar eclipse being possible on FE. Is that scientific evidence?
I can't interpret their questions for you. This is what I mean. It needs to be tightened up a bit, I think.
Scientific evidence of a lunar eclipse. Can we have scientific evidence of a lunar eclipse on the globe?
Well, if there is no globe, then I don't know. I don't think you can.
I hate to ask questions to a question, but what about the Selenalion in their fairy tale worldview? What is the answer to that for them? There is no answer to this question. It's moronic because we're looking for scientific evidence, right? Because this is a cause and effect question. So it should be scientific evidence of a lunar eclipse being possible on a flat Earth. That's what it should read.
But when they say, my criticism when I first saw that was when they say on a flat Earth, are they forcing the person being asked to reify a flat Earth model? I don't know the context of the F.E. bit.
Very true. Yeah,
because if it was just any evidence of a lunar eclipse being possible on the flat plane we draw atop, that's why I said one concise answer. Yes, I do observe that. Lunar eclipses, that is.
Yeah, we do, don't we?
Yeah, we do, yeah.
Because they're presuming a globe Earth. That's right.
That's
Good
what
job.
my answer was. If the Earth is flat, and I've seen a lunar eclipse, I've never experienced a globe. So for me, that answer is yes.
Yes,
there is evidence of it.
There we go. Concise as it gets. Thank you, Chocolate. So the answer would be yes.
I say, hopefully that FE doesn't stand for me, because I want to see a lunar eclipse for me. I don't know.
We need clarity on
I'm
what they mean by FE. Is it foisting
on FE?
Yeah, we need clarity on what the FE bit means. But should we move on to number 2? We've covered the same things as last time, quantum eraser. So, yeah, great.
So you guys got all the answers right. Okay, go to number 2.
We covered that as well. The main point, I think, with that one is that, again, another word I struggle to say, you say it, please.
Selenalion?
Selenalion.
Yeah, that one.
Selenalion.
Can someone other than me describe what that is?
Well, sorry, carry on.
Yeah, isn't it an eclipse with the sun and moon in the sky at the same time?
Bingo.
And could that possibly be a housekeeping question for our side?
No. Well, why it wouldn't be? I'll get to at the end, but possibly not. it's still an interesting address to this sort of question.
The question's malformed.
Yeah, it is. Moving on.
Negative question fallacy.
Number 2.
Question 2 was changed from. So question 2 originally was written hidden from the bottom up over a flat surface using the theory and maths, and can it be scalable? So that was question 2 as it was originally formed. And when we smashed that, it's now been changed to occluded by physical obscures from bottom up over a flat surface, not distorted or mirages, theory and maths scalable, with objects big enough to see and not with the Rayleigh criterion.
What?
What the hell is that?
Who wrote this shit? What the?
They're illiterate.
This is gibberish.
This is literally gibberish.
The only
Really
bit that makes coherent sense is the last semi-sentence. Enough to see and not with the Rayleigh criterion. The Rayleigh criterion being an expression of the diffraction limit.
I'm sorry, I don't get that. That's not even a question. It's not even a properly formed sentence. This is moron. Sorry.
Yeah, this is terrible.
We take optics out of optics. Is that what they're saying?
Yeah, they're saying...
Yeah.
Exactly.
So question 3, evidence of angular change of the sun or moon by 50% over one day.
I already fumbled this
angular.
years ago.
Go on, chocolate.
Angular? What does angular mean again?
Means not actual. Not actual.
Oh. So evidence of the not actual size of the sun changing?
That's correct. That's what they're asking.
Yeah, from its not actual position.
Right. Nonsense. It's not
Huey, can I just
We had a
say
Ballbusters episode. I went through this one, and we laughed really hard. So you need to go back and see that.
Somebody from Discord was just trying to get a word in. Go ahead.
I was just saying that QE, you've pretty much pummeled most everything, and these people that lack integrity and honesty, just like Zanuck, for example, continue to spout it all over and over and over again. And also, congratulations for reaching 1,026 subscribers.
Woo woo woo!
Hey, who is that? Who was that?
Travis Clark, sir.
Hey, Travis, thanks a lot, man. Appreciate that. Yeah, I'm stoked. All right, back to the question.
I appreciate you, bro.
I love you
thank
too.
you.
We have cuddles afterwards.
It's a shout
Moving
out.
on. Yeah, no, kudos. Well done for hitting 1,000 subscribers in all seriousness. But yeah, number 4. Same as number 3, surprisingly.
Sunset, sunrise, moonrise, moonset over one day, solar filter. Oh, that's really difficult. This 200,000 miles, obviously, because that's how far they think that we can see. The size 1/57th perspective.
What is this? These aren't questions. They're
Wait, which question are you reading? What did you just say?
What's happened here?
4.
It's okay. No.
4.
What the problem that's happened is there's been a miscommunication, right? And somebody said to somebody else, "Can you make sense of these questions?" And what that person has then done is they've printed them off, got a pair of scissors, and cut up all the words and chucked them in a bucket. They've then pulled them out in a random order and stuck them back on a page and gone, "Here you go. I've made some sense of that." Because that's not even a sentence either.
But it sounds like they're making claims for us.
people, third and fourth graders. I hope you're watching this. This is the State of the Union of the ball-tard spinning space monkey religion. These guys should be institutionalized. Seriously.
When you actually dice through what they're trying to ask, it's the same as number 3. So sunrise, sunset is what they're talking about. Solar filter, so you can get accurate measurements of the, the size, they just say. It just says size there. Would that be the angular size? I think it would, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It would, it definitely
is. Accurate measurements of the not actual size, yes.
That's correct, Chocolate. Again, on form. Correct. They want you to I don't know what they want you to do because it's a malformed question, malformed sentence. But what I do pick out of that is they're talking about the size of the sun at 0.0175%. Well, that would be a not actual size, wouldn't it now? Same as question 3. Anyway.
I'm disappointed that there's no space commas in there.
Whoever did it is illiterate. They don't know how to form a sentence or a question. Should we go on to number 5?
Evidence of a dome and lack of a pressure gradient.
Evidence of a container. Well, you can't have gas pressure without a container. It's a necessary antecedent consequent game. Like you can't have ribeyes without
Yeah,
the
but
cow,
they said dome.
right?
Basically,
Hold on.
I'm sorry.
Owen, say that again.
But they said dome, not container. So
Question
they were
5.
misleading.
Evidence of a dome and lack of a, quote,
Dome field.
gas pressure gradient. No, just pressure gradient.
Lack of a pressure gradient.
Yeah, straw man fest.
What in the
Bunch of
world?
marker sniffers.
There is a pressure gradient. So,
They were
what's their
just-
point? And
Yeah, okay, so we can put a strike through. It's a bit like evidence of the eclipses. Yeah, there is, yeah. So evidence of pressure gradient? Yeah.
Yes.
So let's put a strike through that.
But they're comparing it to a flat Earth model. So
So dome is
They're
very
basically-
It
descriptive.
doesn't matter what they
What
compare it
model
to.
of course
The very fact that he was able to type this sentence while breathing proves that there is some form of container, because you can't have gas pressure without one. So thanks. Yes.
But that's not Owen's point. Owen's point, well, maybe you'd like to say it again, Owen.
well, what they're trying to do here is they predict how the flat Earth model would show reality, and then they're making they're making a false model out of it and saying, look, in our predictions of the flat Earth model, this should not happen. There should be no gas pressure gradient. So why is it there if your model says it's not? That's basically what they're trying to say.
we don't have, number one, we don't have a model. Number two, you can't have gas pressure gradients without gas pressure. That is, you can't have delta X before you have X. How many times have I said this for the past 3.5 years?
Quite a few. That wasn't the bit I was hoping you'd focus on. Their question is quite specific in regards to evidence of a dome. Let's ignore the lack of a gas pressure gradient, because we do have a gas pressure gradient. But the evidence of a dome bit, I wouldn't assert a dome because I don't know what the sky is. So dome's quite suggestive at the very least in terms of what it is, and I don't know what it is. But the way we phrase our housekeeping question, if it's to be paralleled, would be any evidence of a gas pressure without a container. Now, a container's been paraphrased by them, presumably because it's supposed to be all-encompassing and challenge those who assert a specific model with a, I don't know, sapphire, glass, whatever the hell, dome over the top of it. We don't necessarily assert that. We make it clear that the necessary antecedent to have gas pressure, as John's just pointed out, he said it about 1,000 times over the last 3 years. That's an exaggeration. I don't need crap in the comments for that. Several times, at the least.
No, it's over 1,000.
Maybe.
It is.
You can't have gas pressure without a container. So the word dome, maybe that's not for us. I don't know.
Well, dome's just a container, right? Container, dome. Same thing, dome, container, right?
Not really. A container
Not
can be
really.
dome.
They're
So
just
the
trying to
dome's not a
bog you
container.
down to the structure of the
Hold on,
container.
Chocolate.
A
Right.
dome is a container,
hold
but
on.
not all containers are domes.
Yeah, exactly, dome. Exactly. You could have a square container, which would be definitely not reminiscent of any sort of dome that I've seen.
Okay.
Dome
It's a
implies
container.
shape, right?
Exactly, dome implies a shape. Right on.
All right, I'm sorry. Let's go with just container. All right? For crying out loud, the pedantic nonsense.
No,
Yeah, but the problem is that that's
Not
not in the
pedantic.
question.
it's not pedantic. It's forcing us to take a position that implies a shape. It's not pedantic. I'm not willing to do it.
Okay, I'll
Precisely,
just go with
just like when
container.
they say
I get that.
FE, they
It's a
try to
dome,
force
but
us
we'll
to
just
take
go
the
with
azimuth
Did
position.
you hear that? Go on, say it again. Let's hear it again, QE.
Yeah, that's right. It's a dome, but we'll go ahead and say container.
Container. Yeah, antecedent. Necessary antecedent to have the gas pressure is something to press upon. That's what gas pressure is.
That's right. It's a closed system, is what we're trying to say. How about that? But I wouldn't put this to George. because
Dome
he
fields,
thinks
right?
closed thermoses are open systems. So
He says
just,
we've got.
just FYI.
He says we've got a force field, though, doesn't he?
Oh, is that the new one? The force field? Yeah. I forgot
Dome
about that.
field. Any evidence?
Oh, the dome field. See, he applied a shape to it.
No, I did. He said force field. I just changed it to George Netanyahu's dome field just to take the piss.
Oh, got it.
Okay, have we smashed that enough for you, Ranty?
Invalidate. Well, yeah. Invalidate gravitational force scales / MEMS accelerometer.
Oh, that's easy.
What's
We already
gravity?
smashed.
Yeah, that's like see.
Anthony?
I had Stingray on this. I asked him, why are you contrasting gravitational force against gravity? And I never really got a concise answer, so I'm not quite sure why he's contrasting it. But he's making a distinction from gravity against gravitational force. John, do you know why he might be doing that?
Say that one more time, Anthony.
I had Stingray on this the other night because he was making an issue out of he was putting a distinction between the word gravity as a generalized word against the force of gravitation, which is something else, he says. And I'm like, well, what's the difference? And I looked it up and it says the force of attraction between masses. And I'm like, how is that any different to gravity? And I don't know the answer. And he didn't give me a concise answer for why he's contrasted.
It's a ham-handed way of reverting back to what they call Newtonian. So if we were like back in the day, 3 months ago, 4 months ago, however long, probably longer, we'd say, well, which gravity, as opposed to what's gravity, which is what we say now, which gravity. So that's just his way of saying, I'm going to be applying Newtonian, well, let's call it what it is, Reverend John Michel Cavendish gravity.
Reverend John Michel Cavendish, CV Boys.
CV
How
Boys came
about
after, though.
scales?
Can I just get clarity on that?
There's literally invalidate scales.
CB Boys came after, though, right?
Yeah, but
Well,
long
I
after.
can invalidate scales. I heard Rumpus asking a guy that went on Jose's channel, a genuine on the fence guy, and Rumpus jumps in and he says to him, do you agree that scales are a force measuring device? And the bloke thinks about it for a minute and he says yes. And at that point, I was dying to jump in because basically we know that weight, because he says that mass is not a force, weight is a force, and we know that weight's calculated by mass over little g. Well, we know the little g bit is the measurement of acceleration due to gravity, but gravity is not a force, so that bit's removed out the equation, so we're left with just mass. So when he says scales, then if Rumpus says that scales are a force measuring device, and we've removed the force of gravity because it's not a gravity and not a force, even though you can think of it as a force, then you're left with just mass. So that means that either the scales are measuring a force of mass, which Rumpus is adamant isn't a force, or scales are not a force measuring device. But he can't have it both ways.
The second is true, but what's mass?
Sorry, I meant mole.
I wasn't expecting
Instead
that
of
answer.
little g, they should use RDD.
What's RDD?
Yeah.
Relative density disequilibrium.
Yeah, because really, we know that scales are not measuring a force because if you get the same object but weigh it in the medium of water, it weighs less because there's a buoyant effect on the water, they tell you, but it's really because it's more dense than the air. So what it's measuring is the disequilibrium. You're getting a relative measurement of disequilibrium based on it not being in a state of equilibrium.
Yeah, but the question that should be asked initially is, why is it in disequilibrium when typically things like to be in equilibrium? And most often it's, well, what we've done, they don't say this, but that's what's happened. They'll say, what we've done is we've taken this ball, we've walked up 10 flights of stairs and we're going to hold it over the top of the building and let go. Then we're going to ignore all of that which just took place and ask, why is it going down?
No, I think people didn't like when we started doing that, when we started looking at the whole thing as a, together, because, they would just ask, oh, why does this fall? Why if I drop this brick off a building, why is it falling? Completely ignoring the fact that they just said, I dropped the brick, and then forgetting that they picked up the brick where it was before they dropped it. Like, they don't like that. We look at that whole thing now.
Yeah.
They're very irked by the things we do.
They say, why does it fall? And the question should be, why is it trying to seek equilibrium? Why is it trying to return to equilibrium? Because in so asking, you're asking how it's got out of equilibrium in the first instance, the bit that they ignore when they ask you why is it falling.
I think that for me personally, it's the same reason why hot goes to cold and pressure goes to non-pressure.
Oh, you should know that. No.
Well, that's
be
a
careful.
Conversation for another time. We're not quite there yet.
Yeah, this got discussed last night. That's not the case, though, is it? I was under that illusion before yesterday's conversation.
Right. Yeah. Entropy is a secondary element. It's not the direct cause.
How did you phrase it last night, Quantum Eraser? Sorry, Arwin. You phrased it beautifully. I can't remember what the words you used, though.
It's a derivative.
That's the word.
Right. Or the driver, as I called it.
Yes.
So
exactly.
what does derivative mean, John?
It's a second order effect.
Second order effect.
Yeah. But
It's the thing that drives all things.
We haven't hammered out all the details on that, so I'd put that on hold.
Yeah, we will cover this. This is what Arwin was praising on his show, and I was talking about in the pre-show. So there's a very elongated conversation with some. I didn't talk. Some brilliant minds. Anyway, so should we move on? I know we've got to question 6 before, but have we actually addressed it now? Gravitational force. What's gravity? What's mass? If it's not a force, how can it be the thing that's forcing the scales? I think
What's up?
Everything.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Nathan. What's up with the last part? I could see at the scales. Yeah, that's hilarious. But what's up with the MEMS accelerometer? What's the
Another way
context
to
around
measure
this?
gravity, according to them?
Is that
scale?
I didn't hear you, Arwin. Go ahead, say it again.
Sorry, I think that thing is supposedly another device that can measure gravity just like scales. That's how they put it there.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, thanks. Yeah, that's pretty stupid. You want to answer to that, ballers? MEMS. You need to put these into some kind of coherent sentences first, because it's a struggle. See, all you got is an effect, right? You need to validate and confirm the cause. Okay?
Oh, but John, they've measured the effect, so that's enough for them, and then they've modelled it.
Jeez.
And that model makes predictions. Let's not forget that.
Models.
So that's real
Models?
science, John.
That's science.
Models
that
are
is.
pseudoscience.
Science.
Fuck.
It's not pseudoscience. How dare you? That's science. That
No,
is.
pseudo means real, remember?
Pseudo means
Oh,
real.
I forgot it's backwards day. I forgot.
Yeah,
Real
I tell
backwards
people off
fake
for
is
being
real.
sarcastic, and I'm doing it myself now. Like, right, pseudo means fake. This is pseudoscience. It has no adherence to any cause and effect relationships. It's an assertion and a just so story based on mathematics. So, no, this is not scientific in any way, shape, or form. The question itself is malformed, of course. We move on to 7.
Satellites.
Question 7. They're looking for flat earthers to invalidate GPS satellites that are orbital and media satellites that are geostationary.
So just
Begging
because
the
technology
question, they're
works means that the Earth's a ball, does it?
Begging the
What's an
question,
orbit?
they're assuming there are satellites, and I want to know what they mean by satellites and where they are.
They've clarified that in brackets. It says orbital. So they're already begging the question.
And my question
Yeah.
was, what's an orbit?
Yeah, wait a second. We need to know what orbit is. I need to know the exact distance that they're talking about here. And if you go back to Robert Pisano, we've played this video before. We dealt with this 3.5 years ago. We had the list of all the balloon satellites. You need to go back there and check that out, folks.
Yeah, we listened to that the other day, didn't we? You and I think it was Betty.
But we had it on the show that one time. On the after
yeah,
show,
we played it on a show. Yes, sorry. Yes, we played it out to the audience. That's correct.
I can't remember which one. If we had a title, we could go back there.
Stop messing around and get a title sorted. What's your problem? Can't you organise this stuff?
Yeah.
Okay,
Does
so-
anyone else have any?
Can I have
media
a little
satellites?
begging the
Oh,
question, sub question?
Go ahead, Arwin. Yeah, begging the question.
Right,
I heard.
so if these GPS satellites are supposedly orbital, that means technically they would be spinning around the Earth. Okay, so why did the early GPS not have any range, say, on the ocean or anything? Why would it have selective range if it's spinning around the Earth? And they later had to fix that.
Because it's ground based.
Because it's not.
Yeah, because it's majoritively ground based, like a what's it called? An evolution of the Lorentz system.
Yeah, there was a tower.
That was my thought exactly. It's just like, ooh, they just say, okay, these satellites, they're in an orbit, so they have this range, but then they just conveniently forget that that very same system in the past had quite a selective range, which is just not explainable if they were supposedly satellites orbiting.
What's
So
an
how
orbit
far-
again?
Where are they orbiting? Where is their position? Where are they at?
It's perpetually falling around the Earth.
No, but where?
Where?
Someone say space. Come on.
Probably.
Oh yeah.
Probably under. Isn't it under
In the second law of
Not the
second law of
conclusion.
thermodynamics
To
violation.
that place up there where there's no gravity.
I love it when the penny drops. I love it. I love it. So I think they might be in space. What do you reckon, John?
You think they're up in the vacuum somewhere?
What, vacuum? Vacuum? You say? Oh no, we definitely don't have a
Come on,
sky
guys.
vacuum.
But how,
We know they're hanging out in the second law of thermodynamics violation. Doesn't everyone hang out there?
Falling,
There
not
you
hanging. Falling, you mean?
but if it's home field, how they
They're
orbiting?
falling.
They're falling in a second law of thermodynamics violation. That's right, Chocolate.
Also,
Oh boy, you guys see it now, right? So disprove the medium, and it all goes away. You don't have to get into the nitty gritty details, right?
You could do it with anything, right? Did men go to
Yep.
the moon? Where did they say the moon is?
Where's the moon?
Where did they travel through now? Where did you say they travelled?
Narnia.
No, space.
what space?
Well,
Yeah,
officially
darn
not
it.
entirely anymore. Remember, it's still somewhat in our atmosphere.
Yeah, whatever.
Well, since the 90s, they only recently chose to tell us
Remember the graph.
that. That's been the case since the 90s, but they just recently dug that out on our opposing side of the argument, or mainstream, I forget which.
It doesn't
just
matter.
forgot
What's the
about it.
Tor
Oh, they
value?
put it
doesn't
away for
matter.
the when flat Earth blows up files. We got to bring
It
this
doesn't-
back up.
So
Okay.
they
doesn't
just
matter.
took
Hold
another
on.
look into
Look,
that.
this is
Wait a
going to be left out
second.
there. John's desperately trying to actually address it. Go ahead, John.
Oh God. The Tor values. Did the Tor values change?
Yes, they did, yes.
They did.
Yes, they did, yes.
What did they? Okay, I need the Tor values from where my feet are to the moon.
Look, I can show you the cartoon.
Ooh, does that mean there's
Is
something
that
to propel off
satisfactory?
of?
Hold on, I can show you the cartoon that demonstrates that the Tor values are now pushed slightly further out and now within what they used to think was Earth's atmosphere. The moon's included in that. Obviously, it's still a completely open system, but are you asking me to show you the cartoon?
Now, you don't have to show it to me now, but could you send the juxtaposition, the current, the former values that they said they were, and then the new? Can you do that?
Sorry, just to be clear.
No,
you
but
want
they. Oh, hold on, I can
Hold
answer
on, I
that.
just need to
Before-
get clarity on what he wants. You want the old made-up values versus the new made-up values. Is that what you want me to get?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, he's got the old and busted. He wants the new hotness.
I see.
But technically, in the way they presuppose it, before they simply assumed that the atmospheric gradient around the globe Earth would be uniform. But now with the moon, it's become no longer a perfect sphere of gas around the Earth, as it were. It's now like pear-shaped towards the moon. So it's become no longer symmetrical, according to that new assumption.
Like a giant sperm.
Cool story,
now.
bro.
Anyway,
It's like a giant what?
sperm.
A giant sperm?
Then
Or a pear.
Or
Sounds
tadpole.
like another
Then
unconfirmable claim.
yeah, so the moon is orbiting supposedly. So does that mean the atmosphere gradient to the moon is also changing as the moon orbits, or what?
Yeah, man.
It's no longer
It's a
the
full-on
cartoon
crazy roller
perfect
coaster.
spheres.
Yes, there's a
man.
gas bridge in between, as it were, now.
Yes.
And it's constantly moving with the moon rotating around us. So the atmosphere is no longer perfectly spherically uniform.
Can I
It's
ask
constantly
something?
bulging towards the
Right. So
moon as it moves.
Why?
Are you still
Right,
on
so
the
why?
TTS question?
Look, this is very important. The guy's trying to get the ground rules for Narnia here, so let him get clarity.
Or do we need
that's
to
right.
repeat it?
Just want to know how they're constructing this. So now the spheres are not concentric spheres like the cartoon, but it's moving and morphing with the moon and the atmosphere, and they're interacting and
No, just the atmosphere.
Yeah, that's what he's talking about. That's what he's asking. He's asking, what's the magic dance between the moon and Earth atmosphere as it traverses at however bazillion miles an hour it's traveling?
Right. So there should be a lot of wind turbulence also because of
Yeah,
this. as a
man.
consequence.
There's a lot going on, Arwin.
Yeah.
Right? Do you know why you don't feel any of it? Scale.
But technically, even if you think about it, how the moon supposed gravity and the Earth's supposed gravity converge a little to make this bridge of gas pressure in between, that would technically mean that every time the moon comes over, there would be more air pressure. I think.
And don't forget
very feelable.
Oh no!
Would you say?
I think I could dig out a correlation if you really need one, Arwin. No problem. Give me a
I'm
couple
just
of weeks.
presupposing this.
Yeah, and don't forget satellite will get sucked into the moon every time it comes past.
Oh God, yes. Suddenly there's like the moon wind. Oh no, the satellites might risk being bounced out of their orbit suddenly.
Are we all...
Yeah, so they're gonna claim this is like tidal air pressure gradients or something, not just tides of the ocean, but the moon is causing this tidal atmospheric effect. So who knows what?
The moon can't cause that because
A
gravity's
column
not a
of
force.
wind, a column of higher pressure moves over
Gravity's
the
not a force, though, so the moon can't cause anything.
It can if you presuppose it's a rock
I was
orbiting
about
a
to say
planet.
they can make up anything they like.
No, they can't.
Yeah, they do.
People would notice. People
They
would
literally
notice,
do.
Nathan. Everybody would notice.
They change it. I just said in the 90s they changed the entire tour value from here to the moon. They never mentioned it really, but they did. They can change anything they like. If you're in Narnia, right? I'm just writing down a script of what happens in Narnia next. Now, the fact that there's been quite a few movies and a few books written, do you think that matters to me if I'm going to make up a fundamental change in the physics of Narnia? It doesn't really matter. Narnia's not real. So, in the same respect, what the moon, Earth, atmosphere relationship in a vacuum does, right? You can just make up any old crap you like, really, because that's not what's happening.
Well, you can make up any old crap you like, really, anyway, because nobody would ever be able to prove it right or wrong. So you can just tell them anything that they want because they're all gullible enough to believe it if somebody from NASA said it.
On the contrary, we have a very fortunate situation with them being, too arrogant and asserting that they're science. So the people who assert this would be astrophysicists. Well, they come under the banner of science, and therefore we can ask them to empirically validate their claims. And you know what? We'll even use their banner of science to do it with. And have they got scientific evidence when it comes to astrophysics? I think not, because it's a pseudoscience. So, yeah, in terms of the assertions that are made and the just so stories they make up, we are lucky enough, if you want to call it, I've spun this obviously, lucky enough that they call themselves scientists. It's not, it's an outrage, but in this spun example by me, we can challenge them to science based on their banner. They call themselves scientists, so let's see how you've empirically validated it. What's that you say, scientist? You don't want to adhere to the empirical method known as science. Well, that's unusual, isn't it? It's just a just so story. They just make it up, and they do, and they have, and that's why we're here.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go on mute for a little bit. Carry on with the rest of the
next question.
Yeah, it's like the new Star Trek and the new Star Wars, like they can just create this entirely new Star Wars and Star Trek that's really very different from the old Star Trek and Star Wars. So yeah, Narnia, Star Wars, Star Trek, and now you have the moon, tidal atmosphere, and oh dear, so on and so forth.
They update the science fiction realm. That's right.
Do you know what it reminds me of when you said that? They can just update it, whatever. It reminds me of when your favourite soap and your favourite character in that soap leaves for whatever reason, right? And then 6 months later they return and it's a completely different character, and you look at them and go, "That's not the same character." And everyone goes, "It's okay, it's make believe, it's fine." That's just what you remind me of then.
They had surgery.
Yeah, that's a good example.
Do we have the next question?
Yeah, you can still read them out. I'm still going to share. I've just got to make tea. That's all. So if I just go on mute, you guys can just keep flicking through, put me up, and then read question 8, 9, and 10 if you want.
Okay, fine. I've got you up. Right. So where were we?
Number 8, horizon dip angle with elevation and distance over water using water in a tube. What the hell is that?
Can I say something about that?
I'm forgetting that we've already gone through this and unscrambled the scrambled eggs that are these questions and tried to make sense of them to address them. So there's obviously multiple challenges here.
Doesn't
The
the angle of that
horizon
change
dip
this?
angle. No, but this thing is about the presupposition that that visual phenomena we know as the horizon is actually the leading edge of a sphere.
Correct. Spot on.
Yeah, but does the angle of attack change anyway? How
To
you
what?
observe it?
I'll do my high pitch thing. What's the horizon now? what is that horizon? I can't do it. My throat's hurting.
Apparent location?
Apparent position.
Visual phenomena.
Yeah, it's the apparent position where the sky meets the ground. It's an apparent location. It's not the leading edge of a reified sphere when you assume an R value. Whether or not that apparent position dips isn't a proof that the leading edge of your sphere is there. That's not what it is. It's an apparent position. So like we're back to measuring. It's like number 3 and number 4, isn't it now? We've got apparent positions that we're reifying. How interesting.
Yeah, and does apparent positions change with angle of attack?
Yeah, you move up. Well, it's not necessarily angle of attack. You move up and the horizon appears to rise with you. Appears. It looks like. As you move up, the horizon's there with you.
Yeah, but when they want to,
Oh, sorry.
they want to have a water with a tube. I mean, if you're going to stand underneath the water tube, it's going to look high. If you're going to stand on top of the water tube, it's going to look lower. So obviously, the angle that you're looking at is going to change the height of the horizon.
They don't like perspective. Shh.
No. Hold on. I just want to explain this to Flatsoy Darwin. Sorry. So yeah, you're right. But when you say it, you mean the horizon, right?
Apparent horizon, but to them it's a real horizon. So that's why I'm just making a.
Fine. So long as that's clear. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, what it does what when you rise now? The apparent position does what now? Who cares?
Can people hear me there?
Say again.
Hello?
Yeah, we hear you.
This is a split up question. Horizon dip angle with elevation and distance? And over what
trying to talk.
Order to.
Hold on, Owen. Somebody was trying to talk.
Say that thing they deal with the thanks, Sean. That thing they deal with the tube and the water, it's always done wrong. They're always they always either have their camera too low or too much water in the pipe. Such nonsense. I said to them, the only test, if you want a tube test about the horizon, is when they're in a plane and the plane is flying over somewhere dry, like the Arizona desert or something like that. You can see the horizon equally in both windows, about halfway up each window equally, and that is not possible on a globe. Mathematically, it's not. Mathematically, it's not possible. Anyone I said that to on the board side, I got met with a very, very harsh response.
Can you get a bit closer to your mic?
Do you want me to get closer? Is it or turn it up?
It's just really quiet. I heard most of what you said. I had you full as much as I could.
I'll turn it up a bit, yes. No, what I was saying is that they're always using these pipes with water in them, and they are trying to level them with the horizon, but they always end up with the camera below where the water is in the pipe, so it looks like the water is above the horizon. It's always such nonsense, and they're always on a beach doing this. I mean, it's ridiculous. To get the kind of drop they're showing with these water pipes on a beach, you know what I mean?
the ground would be dropping away at a mile a minute kind of thing.
Gotcha.
I said to them a few times that the only test, if they want a tube test, if they want one, that none of them things work, is go into an airplane where the airplane is a cruising altitude when there's not a whole lot of clouds around, over somewhere dry, especially like the Arizona desert or something like that. Then look in the windows, crouch down and look out the windows. At either side, you will notice that the horizon is equal at either side in the windows. Horizon is not lower on one side than the other, and it's always about almost halfway up the window. Anytime I've said that to any of them, I got a very bad response. Wolfie gave me a bad response, and a few others. Just like they didn't want to hear about it. They just said, "Oh, that's stupid" or whatever. It's not stupid. If you wanted the tube test, that's the tube
Just
test.
before I get their response to you, you're spot on, because what you're essentially saying is that which you've described visually proves it's an apparent position, as opposed to the leading edge of a sphere. If it was the leading edge of a sphere and you made a sharp bank, you'd see it dip on one side and stay the same on the other, because it's a physical location. It isn't. It's an apparent position. So yeah, you only have to walk up and down the aisle of an airplane, look each side out the windows at the horizon, and see that it's there on both sides at the same point, regardless of what the plane's doing. So if it's always in the same apparent position, it's not an actual position. It's not the leading edge of a sphere, which is what they reify when they tell you to make dip angle measurements. What's the overwater in a tube thing? That's like what Slice Sparkane did, right?
Yeah, that's where his idea came from watching these tube videos where they have water in a tube. But the water's in a tube, and if you put your oil line below the tube, it's going to look higher than the horizon. If you put your oil line above the water in the tube, it's going to look lower than the horizon. It's nonsense. Like, I mean, there's no logic involved. But they swear by that, as if that's a proof. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, that was exactly my point.
Sorry?
You know who I haven't heard? Where's 11th Man?
He's probably doing his farming right about now.
Well, we miss you, 11th. Go ahead. Are we on to the next? Did we square that one away? Or are we on to the next one?
I think we squared away number 8, but we're going to get to cover number 9 in the after show, because I'm going to bid all of you watching on the Nathan Oakley live stream farewell. So a massive, huge, enormous thank you to all of you who did tune in live, smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, and all that good stuff. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. As I say, if you do want to watch the continuation of this show, you'll have to tune in on Sunday on Nathan Oakley 1980. I've been Nathan Oakley. Stay tuned if you're watching on the Nathan Oakley 1980 premiering stream, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Right. Question
Yo,
number
Nathan,
9.
By the way, I have a message for you in Skype. If you please take a look at that at some point.
Who, me?
Yes.
Okay. Do it now if you want. Is it something that doesn't need to be public? Is it a secret?
Prefer it just be among us. Otherwise, I would just say it. But you know what I mean.
Okie dokie. Right. Question number 9. Proof that longitude... What's longitude now? Let's save it. Doesn't converge in the south, open brackets, flight times and speed.
In South, where?
What?
Friggin' Tupelo, Mississippi? Greenbow, Alabama? South what? Right?
Are they just
South Bronx?
South
Are
Bronx.
they trying to just beg the questions without being too obvious?
This is sleeping.
Do you think that they're talking about the Southern Hemisphere? Is that what you're thinking? Do we have any New Zealanders or Australians on the panel in Discord or on your panel, Nathan?
Well, you have South African.
South African.
it is kind of an
Can you go out? Can you go outside right now? I want you to take a picture of a longitude line and them converging, please.
What's a longitude line now?
No, but it is kind of interesting though what the nature is if it is, because this question, it's not going to prove a globe or anything, but it will give a better outlook on how the globe of the heavens works in relation to the Earth. Is there a convergence to the south, or is there none? Is there any to the north for real, for example?
What? Is there longitude up in the sky?
How the globe of the heavens behaves.
But
That's all.
they're
It's only
talking about
light.
longitude.
Yeah, they're talking about the ground.
Yeah, they made a position based
There's
on
only
their
three
globe
places
model. I
in,
mean,
isn't
you can easily make a positioning model, positionings without the globe.
Hold on, longitude, but that whole longitude and latitude system is based on comparing the angular relations of the globe of the heavens with the position on the Earth, and it's very reliable. That's how they work that
Exactly.
out.
All right, very
Exactly, it's based
true,
on the
Arwen.
globe.
Very true. I
But that's
agree
what
with
they
that.
claim.
However,
They say.
they're not saying that. Right?
Proof of a longitude.
Are they looking for us to show them that the longitude lines work on a flat Earth? Because it's designed for a globe. That's what it's designed for. So it can't work on anything but a globe.
Okay, we're getting off topic here. Where's the South African?
I'm here.
You're here? Do
Yes.
you have a camera?
Yes, I do. Must I take a photo for you?
Can you go outside? I don't know where you're gonna point it. They didn't just point south.
Someone take it.
It's daytime there now, so
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna get my compass out. You want me to point south?
Yeah, get the compass out. Listen to him, boy, sharp one. What's your name?
Flatroid.
Flatsoid, man.
Oh,
We've
that's
been
Flatsoid.
representing.
Okay, all right, Flatsoid. Yeah, go take a picture of us and can you post it?
Yeah, I'll do that straight away. Okay, I'm pointing south. You want a video or a photo?
Flatsoid makes debunk videos for Spurs on the spot.
yeah.
Flatsoid's on it.
Okay, I'm making a video. I'm pointing south. I don't see any longitude lines anyway, yeah.
Really? Maybe you're looking in the right
Nothing.
direction.
I don't know. Is
Nothing.
it claiming visual longitude? on
Maybe
here?
it's behind the curve. Or...
I'm gonna quickly then.
Hold up. Can
Well,
I get you guys?
Aren't they basically just
Can I get you
asking
guys to define
proof for the
Yeah.
convergence of conceptual
Romley,
things?
is it? Romley? Go ahead.
No, can I get you guys to define what's the problem and or question you are trying to answer with this
No,
line of
it's a
question?
question to us, and we're pointing out that a longitude isn't real. It's not actually a thing.
Well, what do you mean by real? Because all it does, a lot of longitude simply marks like 61.17 miles, something like that. I can't remember the exact, but like about 69 miles. Like just saying, like every 69 miles, we're going to mark that like this is a reference point as another
Okay.
69 miles. Here's
It's
another
derived.
Hold on.
It's
Thank
derived
you for
from the
that.
heavens.
That's useful. So, Flatsoid. Apparently,
Yeah, that's really useful.
I just need to relay that to Flatsoid. Apparently, they're every 69 miles. So we just need to we need to hone in on where they actually are, so you can get the picture of it. That's right, isn't it, mate? In Discord, he just needs to figure out where they are every 69 miles, and then go there to take a picture of one, right?
Well, it's not about taking a picture one. It's just
No, it
simply
is.
a reference.
That's what we're asking him to do. That's what you asked. What was going on? We're asking him to go take a picture of one, and you're now telling us they're every 69 miles. Can you give him a bit more clarity so he can go and get a photo of one?
No, but why would you need a photo?
give them an
if we're
address.
just simply saying it's
Because
a reference point.
yeah, because when I said they're not real, you didn't seem to understand what that meant.
What do you mean by real?
Yeah, so we're getting him to go and get a photograph of one. The real thing that is longitude. Do I need to speak slower, louder? What part of this aren't you getting? We're sending him on his
No.
merry way to get a picture of something that's not real. You understand that, right?
Here comes the fallacy.
I understand, but what I think you guys are doing is trying to like reify something that doesn't.
No, we're not.
There we go.
No, we're not reifying longitude. We're not asking this malformed, retarded question. Your friends on the globe side, the retards that wrote this onto paper, they're the ones reifying longitude, not us. Okay?
No, not really. All they're doing is saying here's a reference point.
Oh, really? So you can go and take a picture of this reference point, can you?
No, but you can.
No! So what's your point, you stupid fuckwit fundy?
That you can use it.
That they're not real? Is this sinking in yet, you stupid bonehead? You're pissing me off real fast.
Okay, I got it on.
No, Nathan.
It's not real. I understand that this is troubling for you. Clearly, you're a globehead fundamentalist religious zealot who believes he's living on a sphere. That's why the words not real are difficult for you to comprehend.
No, all I'm saying is
It's
that
derived,
you're angry at a reference
arbitrary.
point, Nathan.
You're angry because
use
he's
it to
demolishing
prove
all your
anything.
arguments.
No, I'm not. You're not demolishing anything. All you guys are doing is saying that, like, I don't.
Can
like
you
your
just try
reference
and
point.
dismantle one
Let
of
me
ours?
ask a question.
I haven't
Let
seen
me
you
ask
even
you a
try
question.
once.
Derived, arbitrary.
Let me ask you a question.
RC Moisty.
The baller that's discussing here. Let me ask you a question.
Arbitrary things.
Let me ask you a question, baller.
Here's a good example. IP
Name's Romley.
address, right? Show me the IPP address inside of a computer. It doesn't really exist. It's just an arbitrary number that we give to things, but they're really useful arbitrary numbers.
Are we trying to find the location of the computer right now? No, right?
Yes, because it was made to work with a computer, obviously, just like the longitude and latitude is made to work
There
with a
you
globe.
go.
Are you trying to
So it
prove
doesn't mean the globe
You're
is...
getting the whole point. You're right. It's completely arbitrary. Like there's nothing in special.
You're
or
missing a
innate
key word
about
here.
an IP.
You're missing a key word. They said converge.
Okay.
Longitude lines converge. Right?
Oh.
Do you understand
Yes.
converge?
Right. So a
Well, I
point
did
where the
post the video
Southern
in
Cross
Master
would be overhead, just like the North Pole Star would be overhead in the north.
So
Let me ask the
convergence.
baller
They're not
question.
saying anything about Southern Cross. They're asking
They
about
just
longitude.
worded it very sloppily. That's the problem.
Well, that's their problem. That's not our problem. It's their problem.
I know.
So,
Yeah.
Hello.
so the question,
Riley,
the
ask your
question
question.
then becomes so,
The
like
baller
Nathan's
guy.
really
What's your
like,
name, sir?
really focused on what's in the real world.
RC
The idea of
Moisty
like
is
if
his
a
name.
longitude line does converge, which is again a conceptual idea, like it's
RC
arbitrary, you guys can
Meisty.
call it that, that's
RC
fine.
Meisty.
Right, let me
Yeah,
ask you a
the whole
question.
idea
RC
is-
Mike.
Well, he's just summarised it though, hasn't he? Proof that a
No, hold up.
concept...
No, hold up. Let me
Why
get to my
won't you
point.
let me do this?
The
So they're
real
asking
idea is
for
that if you can
proof that
then
a
get to the-
concept is doing
Hold up.
something conceptual. That's what they're
No,
asking for.
I'm trying to
He
summarize.
seems to be rumpusing the living shit out of me. Yeah, so we've conceded. We've got an idea that convergence is something that's conceptual also, according to this guy, and so is longitude. So proof of what now? Because they're asking us to prove something with these concepts.
Yes. So what you can actually prove is that if I navigate along a line of longitude, I can end up back at the same spot eventually.
Oh, right. So let's just direct our South African friend to find those lines.
You missed the point.
No, I didn't. I'm now asking a guy to go and navigate using these lines, like you said.
Magnetic
Is there a
south.
problem with that? What's the problem?
No, and if I keep going magnetic south, I will turn to magnetic north, and eventually I'll.
No, I'm asking him
No, that
to
has
follow a
nothing to do with
longitude line.
magnetic.
And it seems that you're now telling me something else.
Longitude, latitude has nothing to do with magnetics.
Magnetic south is another good one. I'd like to see that.
Yeah, that's what I was just like, what? What's that?
Weren't there two of those?
What's that?
Two magnetic souths?
Sorry, we can get back to that. Nathan, what
Magnetic
was your
south.
question? I didn't mean the red herring fallacy you, but we have to get back to that magnetic south. But what was your question to him again?
No,
My question is,
my entire point is that like you will end up going south from South Africa and end up heading north again. You'll keep going north until you start heading south again along that line of longitude.
Can you show us
You'll
that?
end up back in South Africa,
Can you show us
proving
that?
that we're on a globe.
Can you show us
So
that?
you're saying that? Sorry, Nathan.
Can you show us that?
What do you mean show you that? Do you want me to take you on an
No,
airplane?
it seems like not real's a struggle for you, and show you is also a struggle for you. What is it with English that you don't get? Show me it. Show me that happening, please.
Sure, there's
As
been
in-
about 8 different
as in
people,
real life.
even within the past 20 years, who have circumnavigated the globe north to south.
That's
and
assuming
south.
assuming a globe.
No, it's not assuming a globe. You can
When they navigate a globe, they're not assuming a globe. Yeah, they are.
do a line of longitude, their path, and show that it made a circle.
And what's a longitude?
Around the globe.
What's a longitude? It's an arbitrary line derived from a path of lights in the sky. Correct?
No, they can be mapped to paths light in the sky, but not derived from.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they are. It's wrong.
Get him, Arwen.
Go ahead,
Oh,
Arwen.
so what
All
are
right, sure,
they
go ahead,
derived
get
from?
me, Arwen.
What are they derived from then, sir?
Excuse
Not
me?
From coordinates of the heavens.
He said they're not. He's asking you what they are derived from then.
Well, you can take a number of derivations from them and where they end up coming from, but again, at this point they're arbitrary mathematics.
Where were they derived from? Is what he asked you.
No, the mathematics is not a good source. That's a tool. Mathematics is a tool.
Oh,
it's not a
just
source.
ask him to repeat the question.
It's a common language that we all use. Yes, mathematics is just a common language.
No, we're not talking about mathematics. Right. You said, no, they're not derived from lights in the sky. That was your challenge to me. Arwen piped up, I handed over. Now, he's asking you what they were derived from, if not from lights in the sky.
Exactly.
Historically, there were references to lights in the sky, quote.
So, when you said, no, not lights in the sky, you complete piece of shit lying fucktard, you were wrong, just interrupting me to be an asshole, because you were absolutely incorrect. I was correct, so when I said lights in the sky is where they're derived from, these lines that don't exist, these concepts that we can't travel along because they're not real, yeah, they've come from lights in the sky. So your interruption was, what, benign? Just Tourette's?
out,
Tourette's? You just got Tourette's?
Chill out.
Decided to interrupt because you've got Tourette's, right?
Chill out, Nathan.
Chill out. Let me just point out to the audience that this fucking asshole has interrupted me to tell me I'm wrong about these lines that are conceptual being derived from lights in the sky. Now, when Arwen points out that, well, what are they derived from, or asks where they're derived from, he says lights in the sky. This guy is a certifiable retard.
Can still let me say anything, but okay.
Yeah, so you interrupted me because they're not derived from lights in the sky? That was your interruption.
Because pragmatically, we don't use those lights in the sky anymore.
Pragmatically
for
or
the navigational
ostensibly?
purpose.
Sorry, I didn't ask how they're pragmatically utilised now, did I? I asked where they were derived from. Are you fundamentally retarded?
I think
Don't
I know what
stutter.
he's trying to say. He wants to say, yeah, but we use maps now. Maps that were created
Yeah, he's just
using
said that.
lights in the sky.
He's just told us about how they're going to be utilised going forward when we're asking about how they were derived from going backwards.
Okay, so what I'm trying to do
Is obfuscate the fact that you interrupted me incorrectly and were wrong, and I was absolutely correct, and your interruption was the methodology of a prick?
Yes.
Nathan, can you shut up for a second?
No, I won't shut up. I'll point out that you're a prick. That you were wrong. You interrupted me to say, no, they're not derived from lights in the sky. Let's get it absolutely 100% crystal clear. This dick, that's what you are going to be referred to as from now on. This dick interrupted me to tell me that they're not derived from lights in the sky and has now made it clear that they are. Dick? Got any words? Dick? Or should I calm down? Dick? That's you, by the way, Dick.
I said, Nathan, what?
Yeah, you're a dick. They are derived from lights in the sky, Dick. Your interruption was wrong, Dick. You haven't got any examples of where they were derived from other than lights in the sky, Dick.
Nathan, I know that you have like this 12-year-old tendency.
No, I know I'm talking to a dick who interrupted me to tell me they're not derived from lights in the sky. No, they're not, Nathan. After saying they're derived from lights in the sky. That was what you interrupted with because you are a dick.
Mathematically and navigationally, they are not derived from lights in the sky.
And where were they derived from originally? Where did we get longitude from in the first instance? What was it derived from in the first place?
Historically, you can point to the fact that they did use stellar navigation right? To
Lights in the sky. So I'm right then.
God.
Yeah?
You keep
Dick.
on digging this hole.
Keep digging your hole, dick.
I am not digging a
Yeah, you are, dick. You're telling me that I'm right, and you interrupted me to tell me that I was wrong, and now you're telling me how right I was.
no. I'm
Yeah, dick. Yeah? That derived from what? The celestial navigations? That would be lights in the fucking sky, wouldn't it, dick? Hello, dick?
You just have to admit you're wrong.
Dick? Can't concede he's wrong, he's a globehead. That's fundamentally impossible for a globehead to do. He will literally sit here with me calling him a dick repeatedly, over and over again pointing out how big of a dick he is and how wrong he is, rather than concede. They have absolutely zero
you don't
humility.
Nathan,
Yep.
you don't even believe in the globe. I know.
Oh, this is a red herring, isn't it now? Dick, you interrupted me. I don't mind. I'll keep this show going. Just for the sake of this, right? I'll keep it going for 4 more hours.
4 more hours.
While I get this
4
dick
more hours.
to concede that he's interrupted me to tell me I'm wrong when I said they're derived from lights in the sky.
Because
And
you don't know the difference between.
And when I point out, he starts rumpusing me, right? Yeah? Dick? That's what a dick does. You won't concede. You've got no humility. You're incapable of conceding your
I've got
incorrect
plenty of
interruption
humility,
that was
Nathan.
wrong. You'll interrupt, though, every time I summarise. Your interrupt was incorrect. Yeah?
When it comes to pointing out the difference between historical derivations and modern applications.
Modern application isn't what I asked. Did I say, what's the modern application? Or did I say, where were they derived from? So derivation is what we're talking about. When I said they're derived from, that was the specific word I used. Oh, what was that followed by? Oh, yeah, you interrupted me telling me no. Dick.
Yep.
Yeah? Well, I'm not.
You guys were just referencing has no.
Yeah, deriving it from the twinkly lights in the sky. Something you said was wrong, Dick. Let's do 4 more hours of Fundy Dick.
4 more hours. Come on, everyone. 4 more hours.
Tell me again how I'm not wrong. I love these uncomfortable silences. You're a dick. You told me I was wrong. They are derived from the lights in the sky, Dick.
And I showed you how historically
they're derived from lights in the sky. Yes, I know.
in modern application there's
Not in modern application, derivation. Not application. How many times? Let's whip this down the drain again. No, derived from lights in the sky, Fundy Dick.
so you won't concede that you weren't trying to talk about modern applications of this?
No, I wasn't trying to talk about modern application when I used the word derived.
Interesting.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it?
Do you
How
know
I
what
used
the
the word
word
derived.
modern means?
Yeah, I used the word derived, didn't I? And you're telling me now, because you can divine my thoughts, that what I meant when I said derived was modern application. Your argument. Isn't it amazing how you can divine what I thought when you interrupted me to tell me I was wrong about how they were derived from lights in the sky? And that's not wrong, is it? That's absolutely correct.
Modern applications.
They're
He's
not modern
already said
application,
2
derivation.
times when we
We've
asked
gone through
him,
this.
so
Let's
what
whip it
do
round
is it
again.
derived from? He bent back to saying that it was again derived from the lights in the
Hey,
sky.
Nathan.
So he hasn't presented
Hey,
an
Nathan, do you know
alternative
what a-
source yet.
No, that's because he's a dick, Arwin. But he'll interrupt you while you point that out, won't he now?
Nathan, do you know what a modern derivation in mathematics is? What is it?
Sorry.
Define modern.
Points are derived from lights in the sky. Something you interrupted me to tell me was wrong.
Derivation.
It's not wrong.
Hey, Nathan, in
You're just a
calculus, what's
dick.
derivation?
And now you're all red herringing the crap out of me, flapping around like a little fish out of water. Funny, but you are a dick, and you are incorrect. And they were derived from twinkly lights in the sky, as I asserted when you told me I was wrong. Now you can flap and squirm all you
Mathematical
like, you
derivation.
little fundy. You're just a
Hey,
dick.
Nathan, what's a mathematical
Don't
derivation?
ask me any more questions, dick. Yeah? Derived from lights in the sky, not modern application, derivation, as you put it.
Nathan, what's a mathematical derivation?
Don't ask me any more questions. You're not listening. You're just flapping like a little fish.
All right. It's making it really hard to follow this in Discord because this guy's rumpusing like crazy.
Hey,
I know.
hey Nathan, what's a
Yeah,
derivation?
he's just asking the same question over and over again while he ignores the fact that he's a dick and he's wrong. And these points that aren't real, longitude in this example, has been derived from a light in the sky. He said that was wrong. He's a dick. That's not wrong.
You don't know how to speak with any detail.
Well, we definitely hammered this point home, but we forgot that one other point. What is magnetic south?
It is the opposite way that is pointed north on a map.
Wow.
So magnetic north. That's magnetic north that you're describing.
Do you want me to define it?
Could you prove that for me, R.C. Moisty? Could you prove a magnetic south?
Excuse me? How would you like me to define it? Electromagnetically or on a physical?
No, I'd like you to be able to prove it. I'd like you to be able to show me a compass pointing towards south once you go over the equator. Anywhere,
so,
at any time in history, at any time ever.
At any time ever.
Yeah.
Sure, no problem.
And it has to be consistent.
Okay, no problem.
But there are specific
with everybody who crosses the equator with a compass.
Oh, wait a minute. Now we're putting more caveats on it about crossing equators.
No, there's no caveats. That's what happens with the north. So how come it's not happening with your magnetic south?
So answer my question
You're
specifically.
claiming a magnetic south, aren't you?
Do you want me to find this electromagnetically, or do you want me to define it on a compass?
I want you to show proof that there's a magnetic south.
Okay, great. So there are about 250 people each year. You can be one of them that go to a place where.
What has that got to do with a magnetic south?
Stop it. I want to hear him.
How about you
Stop
listen to more
him.
than half a sentence of what I'm saying?
Start again, please, Romley. Go ahead.
Okay. So there are about 250 people each year, and you can be one of them, okay, who go to a place where on a compass you see that it switches consistently between magnetic north and magnetic south over the course of about 20 miles. And you realize
Where
that
is
heading
this place?
away from you realize that heading in any direction from that point, it will read magnetic north.
Where is this place?
Hold on. You just said north.
Nathan, I'm presenting.
You just said north. That's not what he asked for.
No.
I mean, what a lovely story. That's a very nice story. But he's asking for south. South.
Wouldn't that push that?
Nathan, I got an official magnetic model of the Earth's surface presented. If you want to take a look.
So,
There's
I've got
definitely not
your,
a singular point.
Yeah, your derivation maps. Yeah, they're up. You've got a quadrupole derivation system
Sorry,
at the top there.
what's the question?
We got some bad background, Nathan.
But he needs to stop breathing down their mic if they're not talking.
Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry, what is the question? There was a bunch of jumbling. What's the question?
Can you prove magnetic south? That was the question. You claim the magnetic south.
Yes, you can do it in two different ways.
Can you prove it?
I just explained.
Don't be telling me what I
Hold
don't put
on.
it on to someone else. It's
Brian,
your claim.
Brian, I know he wants to reiterate what's already his explanation has
I
already
just
come and
explained
gone.
one way. Let me explain the second way that you can do it.
Go ahead.
Okay. On the opposite side, okay, you can actually go to a place that each of these compasses, this instrument that you use, points to magnetic north. And at that spot, which is about, again, 20 square kilometers, you'll find that this instrument, the compass, is going insane. If you radiate from any point from that in 360 degrees, it will point magnetic south. Likewise, there's another place on Earth that exact compass will go crazy in about 20 square kilometers, and any point 360 degrees radiating away from that 20 square kilometers, it will point magnetic north.
That has nothing to do with whatever this place is that you have
That's
to
not
identify.
true.
That has
It's
nothing to
always
do
a combination of the
with
two theories.
magnetic south.
Hold on.
If you're nearing the south, then the
Owen,
south is
hold
going to
on.
point
I just
at
want
the
Brian
south.
to respond to him.
North
It's
is
him
gonna
that's
point
asked
north.
this. Go ahead, Brian.
Thank you, Nathan. It has nothing to do with magnetic south. Magnetic south should be happening as soon as you go over the equator. Everyone in Australia, their compasses should point to south. Everyone in South Africa and South America, the compasses should point to south. It doesn't happen. What you're talking about is an anomaly that happens due to whatever the land and ground is in that area. That's part of the reason why people. This is the reason one or part of the reason why ships use gyro compasses, so they don't have to rely on magnetism.
Okay, so one of the
I mean, that's not proven magnetic south.
Hold on, he broke up. I think he was trying to respond. Try. Your mic broke up, Romley. I think we might have lost him. Go ahead, Brian, if you want to summarise. Good point.
Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead, Brian.
That was it.
I know, but
RC
do you
Nasty
want
is
to
still in
summarise
there,
your point,
so-
though?
Oh, sorry. Sorry. My point was that there's anomaly areas that I've heard of. I haven't seen them myself, so I don't know if they're actually real. But I've heard that there's anomaly areas that the compass will go a bit crazy, and that's places like that is part of the reason why ships use gyro compasses, so they don't need to rely on magnetism to find north.
Let me ask the panel. Let me ask the panel a question. Did you guys notice that this phraseology early on? He said he was criticising the use of something that we were saying, and he said you're basically trying to reify something, and that word reify is our word that we use to criticise them when they use models. I wanted to ask him, where did he get that word from? Was it part of his own vocabulary, or has he picked it up from somewhere? Because obviously we use that word all the time because all of their models are reification fallacies, but we don't have models. So he must have heard it from us. And I wondered whether or not he would admit it, or would he just say, oh, no, I knew that word. And we could all go, yeah, right.
Yeah, he didn't know that. His is reverse reify. He only knows that.
Yeah, he's that dude.
That's what I always call him, Mr. Reverse Reification guy.
Isn't that deification fallacy?
Technically projection. Reifying a model, and they want to project that onto us. So they use that vernacular against us.
Sorry, Nathan.
It's okay.
Sorry, Nathan. Oh, God. God.
I'm done.
Or maybe it's a defecation.
Was Arwen presenting something? Was that who's on your screen over here?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, I was, since we were talking about magnetic locations, I thought I'd bring up the map, the magnetic map, and this time both pictures of actually the overall field strength and the magnetic directions. So what happens, as far as I know, when you approach a southern magnetic pole, A, because there are multiple points, then, yeah, the north part of the compass will not be pointing north. No, the south part will be pointing south. That's the difference. And when you go to the north, it's the opposite. So it's basically going to be pointing at whatever is the strongest. Right?
Yeah, but it should be pointing to south and north equally. You go over the equator and your magnet should just immediately flip.
But it doesn't. Absolutely, it doesn't. And this is the official proof. This is a model based on the gathered data of all the magnetics. So that story is just definitely not true.
Wait, Nathan, or sorry, Arwen, what do you mean it's proof of what?
Proof that there is no singular magnetic South Pole or North Pole, and that the whole way the magnetics work over the Earth is everything but straightforward. It's fluctuating all over the place. Very irregular.
Yes, it does fluctuate like we can observe in all magnets.
Yeah, but how can it fluctuate?
It fluctuates based on the generation of that actual magnetic field. So you can do this simple. You can do a simple experiment with a piece of copper wire around a magnet and watch and actually turn it at different rates to make that magnetic field fluctuate.
Yeah, but how does it do that on the Earth?
Let me guess, it's the molten iron core.
Let him get there.
Oh, sorry.
Arwen.
So Nathan, like I know the rhetorical devices you guys use for this. I don't have to sit there and prove it. All you guys asked was, how can you make a magnet fluctuate I told you how you can make a
No,
magnetic
that's
field.
not the question.
That's exactly what you asked.
No,
Just for the
it's
benefit
not.
of the audience, that my question was swerved.
Okay, so ask your question again. I apologize if I did not
So
represent it well.
I asked you, how does the Earth fluctuate its magnetic field? And you said something to do with wire passing a current through it and magnets. And I asked you, how does the Earth do it? And I didn't get an answer.
How the Earth does it is like there's an entire conversation behind that. But what I'm simply asserting is that magnetic fields can fluctuate. They do fluctuate, and you can have multiple instances of them fluctuating.
Still swerved my question. There is an entire conversation, but what is the mechanism that makes
His answer was there's a whole conversation about that.
If you want to go down that conversation, that's fine.
Yeah, he's giving the same
We're
answer.
having the conversation. Just have it.
Yeah. That's the same as the answer he gave
Let's
last
not
time.
have a conversation about having a conversation. And
I'll
just
try that.
actually have the conversation.
Okay, so before we start that conversation, I want to ensure that we're on the same page with the fact that a magnetic field does indeed exist on the Earth. We can observe that. Correct or not correct? You guys agree with that or don't?
Yeah, we agree. There's a magnetic field. So how does that fluctuate then? On Earth.
It can fluctuate based on what's actually going around the cause or the center of the generation of that magnetic field.
What's that?
Oh, yeah, generation.
What's
So
that then?
you mean some kind of self-perpetuation, perhaps?
That's not what I said.
Well, you said generation, so my question then would be, what's providing the power to it?
There are a number of things that can provide power to it.
But how is it being generated?
Can you expand on that? Can you expand on that without interruption?
Look, this is. I know everyone's baying for blood. This is Anthony's. Let Anthony have this guy. Come on, please.
Tell me again, how's it being generated? You use that word, so where's the generator?
What do you mean, where is the generator?
Well, you said the word generate, that it was getting generated. So my question was, well, where's this generation of power to provide the magnetic fields? Where is this? Tell me more.
It is somewhere inside of the Earth.
Oh, really? And how do you know that?
Because there is a magnetic field.
So so because we see a magnetic field, therefore there must be a generator underneath the surface of the Earth.
No, what I said is we see a magnetic field, therefore there must be a generator of that magnetic field.
Yeah, and you said it was below the Earth, did you not?
That's pretty good.
I said somewhere inside of the Earth.
Right.
That's
Have
right.
you got any evidence to support that assertion?
There is a magnetic field.
Right.
That's so
You said it was below the Earth. So what evidence have you got to support the assertion that the magnetic field must be being created below the surface of the Earth?
I didn't say below the surface. I said in the Earth. Right?
Not below, but in the Earth, right?
Okay.
What the heck?
So, where's the field coming from?
What's the cause?
Where's the field coming from?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Where's it derived from?
You guys don't like the answer to that.
Oh no, we love the answer to
We
this.
haven't had
But
the
we
answer
haven't
yet.
heard your
We haven't heard
answer
the
to
answer
that.
yet.
answer.
So please.
Hold on. Go ahead. What is the answer? We haven't had it yet.
Evidence would point to the fact that it is a iron core.
Yes,
Oh, really?
we got
Evidence
there.
There it is.
Hold on.
What evidence is that?
What? Yeah. What evidence?
The magnetic field. And a couple of other things.
So let me get it straight.
So
if P, then Q, Q, therefore P.
yes.
Nope. That's not what I
Yes,
said.
that's exactly what it is. If P, then
You
Q.
said nope. Wow. I thought you were a fallacy
Nathan.
guy. You don't even know when you make your own fallacies? You're horrible, bro.
Yeah,
Oh,
you're correct,
shit.
Chocolate, but I want Anthony to summarize it. Go ahead, Anthony.
So where's this generation of the magnetic field again?
Yeah,
Remind
You
me.
guys using this is a wonderful example of you guys using singular thinking, this idea of like unidirectional thinking, and like that's
There's
the
only
only
one
piece of
reality,
evidence that
right?
exists.
And you believe you know the answer. So where's the magnetic field being generated from?
Consensus is that it's from an iron core.
Lord have mercy.
Consensus? Sorry, I thought you had evidence.
Consensus doesn't generate.
No, that has changed his tone. Hold on, I've got to step in here. I'm sorry, Anthony.
Then you have P waves and S waves. So there's a triangulation.
He's trying to get the crappy answer over the top of me trying to get clarity. No, you said evidence. Now you're saying consensus.
Me and then say I'm interrupting you. Nope.
Yeah, because you changed your
tune. P waves and S waves.
He's very triggered, Anthony.
P waves and S waves.
Totally triggered. So, yeah, you won't stop talking, will you? You're going to talk with verbal diarrhea because you're triggered.
Nope, Nathan, you interrupted me. I didn't interrupt you.
Take a breath. Calm down. Yeah, you said there was evidence. Now, I heard over the top of me asking you. Again, he's triggered, isn't he, ladies and gentlemen? He can't let me ask a concise question. He's got to interrupt. I'll try again. Third time. So, you said you got evidence. Then you started talking about consensus. Then you started talking about P waves and S waves. All over the top of me talking. So, let's hear the evidence about P waves and S waves. On you go.
What's that, Nathan?
Oh, what's that? You don't want to talk about P waves and S waves with completely clear air for your claim to be heard. You'd rather just say that shit while I'm talking, eh, Fundy? Go ahead with your P waves and S waves. I will clear the airwaves so you don't have to give your example through me talking. Okay, Fundy? On you go. Mic's all yours.
You interrupted me, Nathan.
The mic is all yours. P waves and S waves. Evidence of molten iron core. Go.
Yes, P waves refract on opposite in locations and the world when forces of earthquakes are felt and measured.
P waves do what? Did you say?
Sorry, Anthony. I said molten iron core. Didn't you hear that bit? We're not talking about bloody earthquakes now, are we? Molten iron core.
That was a wonderful red hit.
Try to pay attention. Don't interrupt while I summarise your fucktardery. We're not talking about earthquakes. We're talking about a fundamentalist religious belief in a molten iron core. Do you get it, Fundy?
What?
No, Nathan,
also, I have an alternative for those readings.
Nathan, you love your theatrics. I know that's how you make your money, okay?
Anthony, do you want to ask your question again?
What did you say? Well, I mean, we're on a bit of a tangent. I was going to ask, what did you say about P waves? Because I wanted to hear that. I didn't quite catch it, but I'm not going to do that because it's a tangent. What I want you to answer for me is, when I asked you before, how are the magnetic fields created? Your answer you gave at the time was by consensus. Then I asked you, and you didn't answer me. I asked you, how does a consensus form magnetic fields?
No. That's not what I said. I said that there is evidence from P waves and from a magnetic field that are consistent with the idea.
No, sir. You didn't. That was a tangent that was created subsequently. Your initial answer was consensus. And I'm asking the question again to avoid tangent that you caused. What consensus can do to create magnetic fields?
Sorry, ask your question one more time.
How does a consensus create magnetic fields, please?
That's not what I said. But
I didn't hear what you said. Darwin spoke over you.
You're not as good as the theatrics as Nathan is.
It's red herring.
Don't go there. Come on.
Red herring.
Red herring and ad hom.
This is not going anywhere. The guy's obviously disclaiming it.
Answer my question. How does a consensus create magnetic fields on the Earth, please?
I didn't say that consensus did create magnetic fields.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't. Right. But that's a nice try to theatrics.
Let me re-ask it. What does create the magnetic fields on the Earth, please?
An iron core. The evidence points to an iron core.
What evidence points to an iron core?
Yes.
What creates the magnetic field in the flat?
Ah, everyone be quiet.
In the what?
Anthony, please repeat your question.
In the what?
What evidence do you accept that leads you to believe that there is a molten iron core?
Yes. First, there's a magnetic field that is consistent with the hypothesis that there is a molten iron core.
Second, affirming the consequent formal logical fallacy. The thing you're trying to prove is the molten iron core, and the thing you're basing it on is the magnetic field. So that's if P, then Q, Q, therefore P.
Hey, don't talk all over me. Excuse me, Nathan.
I'm highlighting a logical fallacy. And I'm going to get rumpused, aren't I? What I'm doing is highlighting your logical fallacy.
Nathan, a logical fallacy, I have to say therefore. I didn't say therefore. I said is consistent with evidence.
Yeah, I'll just hand wave that shit and say therefore molten iron core. Yeah?
Putting words in my mouth.
Don't forget that.
But it's a very weird statement, even if it's all fallacious, because how does molten iron create magnetism?
Good question.
Hang on.
How could that even be an
add that up his sleeve.
Wait, we'll come to that in a sec. Can you answer the question I asked you? What evidence do you accept that makes you think that there is a molten iron core, please?
I said there are two big pieces of evidence that are consistent with the hypothesis that there is a molten iron core. Okay.
Okay, number one.
Magma. Where does magma come from?
Everyone else, just Anthony, just this Romley guy.
What's your first piece of evidence, please?
So there are two really great pieces of evidence that are consistent with the hypothesis that there is a molten iron core at the center of the Earth. First,
come on, what's your first?
Field. Second,
he's saying the hypothesis is evidence. He's using the hypothesis as the evidence. That was his first. So just to clarify, you are saying the hypothesis is the evidence, correct?
No.
That's what you just said.
No.
Yes, that is what you just said. We are recording.
Okay, I did not just say the hypothesis is the evidence.
What's number one?
I said that there are two observations that we make that are consistent with the hypothesis.
What's the hypothesis?
Yep.
No. What's number one?
Yeah.
Excuse me?
The hypothesis. What's the hypothesis? If that's the number one, what is it? The hypothesis, that is.
Is that there is a molten iron core at the center of the Earth. Or sorry, a solid inner core at the center of the Earth.
That's an affirming the consequent formal logical fallacy. Second
It's
time
just
I've
an
pointed.
assertion. Where's the evidence that you accept? You said there were two big pieces of evidence, and I'm asking you for the first one. If your answer is hypothesis, that's not evidence. What's the evidence that you accept, please?
The first piece of evidence that points to that this hypothesis is correct is that there is a magnetic field.
Right, that's what I'm asking. Is what's being how is it being caused? You can't use the magnetic field to prove that it exists.
What you guys are doing is you're trying to pigeonhole it, right? It's a good theatrics, but I know.
Hey, fuck you, right, with this theatrics nonsense. No, he's absolutely raping you, my friend, because you're using circular reasoning.
Yes,
We've got a magnetic field. What's causing it? The molten iron core. What's proving it? The magnetic field. What's causing it? The molten iron core. What's proving it? The magnetic field. Round and round we go with circular reasoning. That's what he's pointing out to you. It's not theatrics. It's logical fallacy while you rumpus the crap out of my point that I've made twice and now Anthony's making.
Hey, listen, Nathan. That is an absolutely unacceptable term to use, okay, in a debate.
I will say it.
Why?
You are wrong and using logical fallacy. This is not a tone. This is a highlighting. For me, the fourth time, Anthony's done it. I'm highlighting that Anthony's now done it and I've done it, and you're using circular reasoning. Affirming the consequent formal logical fallacy, also described as if P, then Q, Q, therefore P. This has been pointed out to you multiple times, and your response when it happens is to say that we're using theatrics.
Nathan, you don't use the word rape.
Stop saying Nathan. Stop saying Nathan. Stop addressing Nathan. Address me. What's the evidence that you accept for the magnetic field? You can't.
No, hold up. Nathan needs to apologize for using that word to describe what's going on in a conversation. It is not acceptable.
No, because that's true. He was right. I shouldn't apologize.
Ladies and gentlemen,
for the
this is now a red herring. So, we've got a question on the table. And apparently now we need to stop everything to get an apology because this asshole wants to obfuscate the question that's being asked. He's being asked for evidence of his belief in a molten iron core. It's been pointed out that when he uses the magnetic field, that's circular reasoning. That's where we're at. And of course, because I'm summarising where we're at, he's going to interrupt. Fundy.
And that to be a...
Yep, Fundy still interrupting me. So, I'll summarise it again. He probably won't listen. Skype's going nuts, of course. So, I'll try and summarise again without the Fundy interruption. Let's see if he's still talking. Yes, of course he is. I'm trying to summarise your position, Fundy. Can you shut up?
Nathan.
No, he's just going to say my name indefinitely. Rumpus the Hangout. He's already had another member of Discord point out that they can't hear anything anymore because he's rumpusing non-stop. So, I know what to do with him. He's being asked for his evidence of the molten iron core. He's given us a logical fallacy. That's where we are at.
Absolutely inhumane.
Yeah, it's still appealing to us giving him an apology for something that he's perceived slight when we're asking for evidence of his molten iron core assertion, his fundamentalist religious belief, the reason for the debate.
Nathan, no. I'm
What
telling
is
you,
this
I'm calling you
asshat
out of
asking
your bootstrap.
for apology for?
Don't use the
No
word
idea.
rape
It's a
to
red
describe
herring.
something.
The red herring. Red herring to distract away from the question that I will now summarise again for about the 10th time. So, we're being put in a position where we have to apologise for some perceived slight when the question on the table is, what's your evidence for the molten iron core?
Hey, Nathan.
Welcome to Name That Fallacy.
Nathan.
He doesn't need to apologize for anything, man.
Hey, you don't use the word rape to talk about a debate. Sorry, dude.
Yeah, you are being raped.
Okay.
No.
Just for you. Just because
No, I don't care if he's got a perceived slight that I've said that Anthony's raping you. Metaphorically, of course. That means he's holding you down and forcing your religious beliefs up you. Metaphorically. If you don't like that word, then piss off! Don't play martyr. Sod off, you sensitive little sod.
I'd rather him stay. Can we just apologise and move on? I want to kill him now.
No, you are raping him, Anthony. I'm really enjoying watching you rape him.
Right, so let's just get back to the point. So the evidence for a magnetic field is what exactly?
Their evidence.
Pardon?
Their evidence for it. Is that what you're asking? The globe's evidence.
He believes there are two strong pieces of evidence that there is for the creation of the magnetic fields. I've asked him for the first one, and he's kind of stumbled his way through. So, what is the first piece of evidence that you accept for the magnetic field creation, please?
He's gone.
With a cherry on top.
Oh, he's gone. He's wanted to play martyr. And when it was pointed out that he was playing martyr as a red herring 2 or 3 times, he chose that moment to leave. Because he thought, I've got a good enough excuse now. It's been highlighted that a metaphorical description of his argument being raped isn't acceptable according to him. Rather than answering the question, what's your evidence for the molten iron core, my friend? Because you're being held to account for this. Held to the wall. Oh, there's no walls involved either. Yeah, we're not really holding you against a wall. It's a metaphor for your argument being demolished. But he didn't like his argument being demolished. The terminology for it being demolished, in this case being raped, his argument, that is, he didn't like. It's brutal. That's why I use that word. These people are fundamentalist religious zealots. And it's dug in like an Alabama tick, would you say, John? That'd be a good metaphor. There's no ticks involved either, by the way, fundies. Just to make that clear. These are called metaphors. Yeah? But he doesn't like it because he doesn't have any evidence of his molten iron core. The only thing he does have is an affirming the consequent formal logical fallacy. If magnetic fields, then iron core. Iron core, because magnetic fields.
Where do you guys think the iron core?
No, you didn't say therefore.
Therefore, oh my bad. Didn't say therefore, did I? So therefore, that's not a logical fallacy. Therefore, yeah, whatever.
How long were you guys?
You have to see the relation between molten iron and actual magnetics, because even if you take the reasoning part out of it, it doesn't make any damn sense.
We didn't get there. We were about to get there. We might have got there, but we couldn't.
Nah, we were.
I wanted to hear the hypothesis.
No, we were tantric for quite some time, Anthony. I'm sorry, that's another metaphor. I like holding back the cum. Yeah, that's a metaphor.
Yeah, it was tantric. You're right.
Yeah, metaphorically speaking.
Hey, Alwyn.
Where do you guys think the iron core comes from?
Say again?
Sorry, the magnetic field.
Yeah, go on. Where does the magnetic field come from?
He's asking you.
Yeah, well, any flat earther.
He's asking you, Anthony.
Yeah, go for it.
Sorry. What was the question?
Where does a magnetic field come from on a flat earth?
I have absolutely no idea. It could be the
think
ether
that's something you should find out?
repackaged.
No, it could not be the ether. But
He said he's had the answer. He doesn't know. Where does it come from
don't
on a
know.
globe Earth?
Okay, he doesn't know, yeah.
He doesn't know. Where does it come from on a globe Earth?
Where does well, I believe it comes from the molten iron core. But where does magma?
A molten iron core, the
righty.
second contestant.
Comes from the molten iron core, you say? What evidence do you accept for a molten iron core?
Well, I don't know much about it, so I'm going to say I don't know.
So
you don't know why you accept you don't know why you accept that premise.
He believes something, but he doesn't know why.
Doesn't know why.
Yeah,
okay.
Correct.
So, Chris, when you're asked the question,
So
well, where does
does,
the magnetic
molten
field come
lava
from? Your answer is I don't know. Don't say molten iron core if you
That's
don't know
right,
how
I
that's
don't know
if
enough
there's no
about
evidence
it.
for it. Just
I
say
simply do not know
I
enough
don't know.
about it to try.
Isn't it strange how one fundy can just instantaneously replace another one with the exact same methodology and trauma that their mind's going through instantaneously, eh? Well, all we did was repeat the same question we asked to the last fundy.
You know, it's like the Kung Fu flick where everybody's trying to where there are like 10 people who are trying to fight Jet Li. And there's that one guy, the last guy that just watched all 9 other guys get their ass handed to him. And he thinks he's going to be that one guy that's going to make the difference.
I'm sorry.
Oh, well, no, I was just curious about
no.
flat Earth. I'm not here to defend that. I'm just simply curious about where molten lava comes from, and you know, like when a volcano explodes, for example.
I totally
on a
agree.
flat
That's
Earth.
very interesting. I still don't see a correlation with magnetics, though.
I agree. I would love to know too, but I don't.
Beyond the
What
Curie
does
point.
lava? How does lava connect with magnetics? Go.
I don't know. I'm just asking. You know, it just occurred to me. You know, we've got molten lava, and I'm just wondering where that comes from in a flat Earth.
What's it got to do with molten magnetics, though? That's the
Comes
question
from
on the
a
table. We're
heat
talking
and
about molten iron
pressurized
core, aren't
rock.
we? And the magnetic
Well, I don't
fields
know,
that you
you
proposed.
know, you're talking about molten iron core, so you know, molten lava just came. You know,
No, we're not.
I just
We're
thought
not.
about it.
Yeah, it's projection all over us. We're not
Yeah.
talking about molten iron cores, my friend. That was what you said.
Right. If you're interested in a flat Earth theory, I have theorized about this.
Go for it, Alan.
About what could be causing the lava.
Doing it to trigger
locally.
me. I know he is.
Yes,
So-
he is. Because I felt
Absolutely
triggered
not.
immediately.
This is where, all right, all my sympathy for you with Rant. He's going to wash out real quick, Rant. Arwin.
Oh.
Go, Arwin. Give us your theory, man.
You got the Globehead's courage in you.
No, I just wanted to point you at the hangout, basically, where I talked
No,
about
I'm only
it.
joking. Go ahead,
What
Arwin.
what causes volcanoes?
I'll go and stick the coffee machine on.
What causes volcanoes, Arwin?
Right. Well, don't know for sure, but I've theorized that how could basically lava come to be, and that is
No,
through
speculated, not
local
theorized.
heating.
Let him
in rock.
fucking get it out.
No,
Right.
it's not a theory.
Sorry,
it's
Arwin, on you
speculation.
go.
Yeah, it is speculation. It is.
Okay, thank you. That's all. That's all.
Right.
Thank you. Go ahead.
But I theorized
Alan's
that, or
speculating.
whateverized,
Not theorized.
that induction, local induction cost somehow would be through actual energy having to be there, cause in a specific spot, some types of rock to heat up through the induction, and then as it heats up, heating up rock will cause it to pressure in all directions, and then locally, by basically local heat within the stone, lava could suddenly just start to appear and then push itself to the surface, causing a volcano eruption. And it doesn't need to have any kind of core to do that. That's just a concept.
I have a concept for you, Chris. Yeah. Remember you asked about the how does magnetism work on a flat Earth? How is it generated? Was that your question?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You know the way people talk about the North Magnetic Pole? Yeah. That's not the North Magnetic Pole. That's the South Magnetic Pole.
What?
Right.
And the North Magnetic Pole, just a concept, is the pole star.
Are you saying that the North Magnetic Pole is not on the Earth?
No, the North Magnetic Pole in this concept is the pole star. And
It's not on the Earth.
No, it's not. It's above us.
Oh. Interesting.
So
Where?
Polaris is the North Magnetic Pole, and what we call the North Magnetic Pole is actually the South Magnetic. There's nothing under.
Okay.
And there's no proof of anything on it.
Well,
It's only a concept, but it's
right. Oh,
Yeah,
maybe
it's
if you go
Interesting.
flat Earth dome, then
Northern
the
Core.
north top of the dome could be the North Magnetic Pole. Is that kind of what you were aiming at?
That's what I'm aiming at. That the
Ah,
whatever
right, so dome
containment
based.
is up there, whatever containment is up there, because the Polaris sits directly above the North Pole. So, and it always does.
Whoa,
So,
whoa! Does it sit above the magnetic north?
I don't know exactly where the magnetic north is.
Right. It doesn't sit above the magnetic north. It's not 90 degrees above magnetic north. Just make sure you get that correct, so no one calls you on that. All right.
Yeah, I don't know where that magnetic north is because we've never been able to find out exactly where it is, if you know what I'm saying. So I don't know.
Well, no, I'm
But
just saying, according
it's
to their
above
fairy
north.
tale. According to their fairy tale,
Yeah.
right? It's not above magnetic north. Polaris isn't 90 degrees above magnetic north. Baltards don't even know that, and it's their own damn model.
But don't they also say though that the magnetic north moves around?
Yes, it does. They said it's migrating from north of Canada towards Russia at a rapid pace.
See, that I wouldn't believe. I would say it's more likely that it is directly underneath Polaris, but I can't prove that.
Were you
makes a
the
lot more
person
sense
that
than
was
one.
on debating the gyro compass from the retard Bob the Fallacy guy?
Yeah, that was me a few weeks ago.
Yeah, that was you, right?
Yeah.
I'd like to know how this gyro compass, when a gyro spun up, how it points to north, true north. I'd like to know how that happens.
Yeah, well, what I was arguing, I have an explanation for that.
You don't need an
One
explanation.
second,
Everyone already knows how they do it.
1 second, sorry, I've been called out of the room here. One moment, I'll come back to you.
Right? Who knows? How do they do that? How does that gyro compass work? Does anyone know? This is 2015 argument, by the way. I mean, you don't even have to know anything about gyro compasses. All you have to do is know a little about land navigation or navigation in general. You know, they have this thing on maps. It's called magnetic declination. It's a little box on the bottom of maps that I'll give you a hint. That's all I'm giving you. Da, 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 da. Under pressure.
Yeah.
Dum 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 dum. I came back from making coffee just to do that.
He called it a no pressure tour. Good.
Who called it no pressure tour? I must have missed that. I was getting tea.
Spurs.
But
he says he's on a no pressure tour right now. That's what he's doing.
oh, a tour. I got it now. Yeah, all right. That's pretty funny.
Spursimo has a brave mission to relieve the pressure from the world.
Did you notice the pun? Tour and tour?
Right.
Yep.
Okay. Go ahead. Somebody was
so
saying I
just
heard
back to the
quantum
North
eraser.
Man, cool.
1 second, I just want to talk to some quantum eraser about something. Hello, quantum
Yeah, go
eraser.
ahead.
Can you hear me?
Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Just what I was saying about the gyro compass. The original Sperry gyro compass used mercury in its horizontal axis. And
You
the
don't have to.
mercury,
You don't have to go there.
Sorry.
You don't even have to go there. How do gyro compasses initially, when they're the gyro is spun up, right?
How does it point north?
Yeah. How do they get to go to true? No, not point north, true north or grid north.
Yeah. How
True
did they do
or
it?
true?
I have my own interpretation of it.
No, you don't have
Would you
to.
tell
It's
me?
just a simple. It's just a simple answer. It's actually how they do it.
Well, I just thought that they pointed it in that direction, in north direction, and
How do they know that? How do they know where's north?
Well, obviously they're going to have to check with a normal compass.
Ah, that's exactly. You got it. You're on to it now, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I knew that. Yeah, I knew they had to. I just thought there was something else that I didn't know about the gyro compass, and I just wanted to.
Not according to Bob, the pseudoscience fallacy guy. You just spin up a gyro, and it all of a sudden points to a concept.
I know. Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous. Yeah. What I tried to tell him just about the Mercury. This is an interesting thing, is that the Mercury had no pumps connected to it. It moved around from pot to pot on its own. But the gyro compass has a DC current fed to it. And when Mercury interacts with a DC current, it becomes magnetic. And what it does is it moves away from any magnetic field. And the horizontal the Mercury ballistic was set when they were starting it east of north. So consequently, it wanted whatever was in the four pots, the forward pots. As soon as it became magnetic, which means it would be meeting a magnetic field when it's pointed north. It wanted to move away from the magnetic field, so it moved into the pot backward, the back pot, the aft pot, and that caused the tilt. And I tried to explain that to Bob, that it was to do with the magnetic field, a DC current, and Mercury's what Mercury does when it becomes magnetic. And he didn't want to hear about it. He never wants to hear about it. And that was because they state that it's gravity causing that, and it's not. It's not to do with gravity.
Wait, did you say
Mercury
magnetic?
They actually started using oils, and they needed pumps after that.
You
Once they
surely
stopped
like
using
to go
Mercury, they
down
needed
this
pumps.
begging the question fallacy.
How can
boy.
Mercury be magnetic unless it's frozen?
You should get with Anthony. You guys love to follow down these begging the question fallacies, right?
Why are you guys so hung up on all these fucking fallacies?
Because when people use them, then their reasoning is fallacious and their arguments void.
Right, but you're just shouting it out doesn't make it so, right?
Just shouting it out. I don't
No.
just shout it out. I'll explain it to them if they give me a chance. When I
False
point the fallacy
equivalency
out,
fallacy.
when I
not
point the
shouting it
fallacy
out,
out,
it's
I'll
pointing
usually
it out.
identify it and then use it in a
Okay.
direct example like Nathan
Right,
does.
what was the last one you accused?
like
what was the last
you were
fallacy
telling
you
me?
accused him of?
Oh, well, the
You
last
know,
one I used was on this show. It was about 20 minutes ago. It was a guy who was explaining that the magnetic fields mean we've got a molten iron core. And we've got a molten iron core because, well, what was it? I missed out. Therefore, magnetic fields. Well, that's an affirming the consequent formal logical fallacy. If P, then Q, Q, therefore P. We pointed it out to him, and I think his response was something like, no, that's theatrics, or something like that.
No, he said you didn't.
and then you said
He didn't use the word
rape and all that,
therefore.
and you started-
Oh, I didn't use the word therefore, or he didn't use the word therefore, and
Correct.
therefore it wasn't a logical fallacy according to him.
Correct.
Right, what was the premise?
What was the what, sorry?
What was the premise again?
The premise was that we have a molten iron core, same as the one that you
Right,
inserted
and-
earlier.
And then
Okay,
Q was magnetic fields.
Magnetic fields.
That's right.
And then
Mine's
when
known that
asked
the-
what's creating the
analog,
magnetic
yeah,
fields, his
hold-
response
Hold on,
was
Chocolate. Sorry,
the
sorry,
magnetic
Chocolate.
core.
Hold on. Go ahead, Chris.
Used an analog with sodium and they spun it up, molten sodium, and they got a magnetic.
No, we were on logical fallacies. Why are you changing the subject?
Oh, I don't know. Just thought we
You
were
charge me with just saying fallacies,
I mean,
right?
okay, you're talking about fallacies. Okay, let's continue talking about fallacies then.
Yes. Go ahead. What was your charge? You charged me with
Right,
something.
what was the last fallacy you pointed out there? Quantum eraser, John, independent
I can't
variable.
remember the last fallacy. There's so many fallacies you guys use. I can't remember them.
So many.
You just called them independent variable.
That's
No,
John's
then
nickname.
I can remember the
independent
last one John
variable,
did.
John.
John pointed out the logical fallacy of begging the question when the word orbits was in one of the housekeeping questions from the Globeheads. That was the last logical fallacy I can remember.
Oh,
It's actually kind of a cool nickname. The independent variable.
independent variable, John. Yeah,
The
yeah.
Ivy,
It's a bit
John
like
Doe.
a Bible,
Yeah, that's
John,
what they
you
used
know?
to call me back in the
Interesting.
day,
That's
right?
interesting. What is an independent variable?
That was my name.
I know, but what is
Off the top
an
of my
independent
head, I can't
variable?
recall.
I'm asking
can't
you, Chris.
recall
What, you
off
called
the
him
top
it.
of my
So
head.
you called him it, Chris. So what is an independent variable?
I can't recall off the top of my head.
I'll tell
Chris,
you.
don't say that.
No,
You're
that's
gonna
okay,
let me
that's okay.
down.
It's not a pop quiz.
Don't
It's
let me
fine.
down, bro.
I'm not expecting him to know. There's no gotcha. It means it's the cause. So you're saying he's the cause. That's interesting.
Like I know, like time is one, and I can't which is which. Like
Time
they
is-
use
Time
time
isn't
and
an
age or something
independent
back.
variable.
Time's not an independent variable.
Doesn't cause
Right,
anything.
but time and age, maybe it's the I don't know. I
wasn't asking for independent variables. So I was saying what is an independent variable? It's the cause in your cause and effect relationship. So you're saying quantum eraser, John, the cause. I like that. It's
That's
like
right.
the edge, right?
Well, like like age is. I think age is an independent variable, and time would be a dependent variable. I don't know, but
age is an independent variable.
I can't. It's one or the other. Like this time and age is used as an example of independent and dependent variables, but
Yeah, we just
I
told
don't
you that
fucking
they
know,
are not.
right?
Okay, no worries. But
How would I? You know what? I'm not even.
no, go on. I was just about to
Time-
ask that, chocolate. Go
Hold on
ahead.
a
Go
second.
ahead.
I'll look it up. Hold on. Give me a.
God.
How'd you vary
Time is not an independent variable. It's not a dependent variable either, unless you're Doc Brown. If you're trying to make it a dependent variable, the effect, unless you're Doc Brown, 1.21 gigawatts, then it's not a dependent variable either.
1.21 gigawatts.
Right. So, what are some examples of independent and dependent variables? Two examples of common independent variables are age and time. They're independent of everything else. The dependent
No,
variable,
that doesn't
sometimes
mean
known as
that.
the
That's not
responding
what independent
variable,
means.
is what's being studied and measured.
That's
in
not what
the
independent means. We told you 3 times that time cannot be an independent variable for many
Okay, I'm
reasons.
just reading
Time does
what
not
Google
cause
gave
anything.
me.
Time is
The
a
doctor.
conceptual medium in which all the events in what we call the universe take place in.
Wow, that's you're blowing my mind.
Yeah, well, there can be only one.
Yep.
The problem
How's your channel got coming on, John?
It's smashing.
Problem with time being an
Smashing.
independent
Who's
variable.
running it?
Me.
Yeah. But I'd not seen any original content on it. Just rehashed.
Just me.
Perverted School of
Got Ballbusters on Saturday.
You haven't
but
seen
it's just
any
a repeat,
original
right? It's
content.
not.
Just
It's
me
not
talking
live.
the whole
It's
time.
No, you're wrong. It was live on Saturday on Quantum Eraser channel.
Oh, was it live? Well done.
Chris.
They're kind of, when you listen to my channel, it's mostly me talking. Now, there's other people that come on that help out, but are you saying I'm not on my channel?
Oh no, just like all the scheduled events. They all just rehash stuff from older Hangout.
Oh yeah. Well, has the arguments changed?
No, but I mean, I did see you giving someone shit for parroting and repeating, and I just
So I'm
thought, it
parroting
was a bit
myself?
ironic.
So he's parroting himself, and you don't like that.
Oh yeah.
I call that being
It's
consistent.
him, Chris. Like, are you kidding right now, bro?
He's just having a dig.
Oh
Let him have
man,
his
you guys
dig.
are
Fair
funny.
enough.
This is a good
He
thing.
parrots quantum physicists.
Oh no, here we go. Anon, we missed you.
What's up, sunshine?
I just
Hey,
want to
what's
point
up,
out.
man? Have you
Hold
figured
on,
out
hold
how
on.
to figure? Have you figured out
How you doing,
how
baby
they come up
girl?
with the wavelength yet?
Just want to point out that that's Chris having John's cherry, so to speak. This is another metaphor, by the way. Right. So that correct me if I'm wrong. That's the first time
I'm
you've
not
been.
sure I like this metaphor.
Yeah, well, no, in a good way for you. You're the first to critique him as a YouTuber, right?
Oh.
That was the first, I think.
So
Am I
I'll be a
wrong?
footnote in history when the truth comes out.
I told him that you'll have to take a different type of trolling. You'll have to take the.
Yeah, John will lead the survivors. Like, look.
Well, your trolling was
He
about him
knew
being a
all along.
YouTuber, though, wasn't it? It wasn't about his subject matter in the slightest. It was about how he produces his content, right? That's a different type of
Yeah.
trolling. That's the first time John will have experienced that. But kudos for taking his cherry and letting him experience that I'm sure he's so grateful.
Oh, right, okay.
You took my.
I'm
I
always
was
happy to
wondering,
take
did he
someone's
took
chip.
my
No,
cherry?
that doesn't
He
sound right.
did, yeah. That's your first criticism as a YouTuber.
I
Okay.
broke John in.
Chris.
Are you bleeding, John?
Chris.
Yes, man.
Metaphorically,
Sorry.
Chris.
Wow.
Yes. Metaphorically,
it was a
yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Nah, I'm not bleeding because it was a pencil dick.
What was your exact search term for a variable?
Oh,
You guys are
I just
for
put
that.
an independent and dependent variable example.
Just that was your exact words. Independent and
Yes.
dependent variable example. Not example.
Example.
Just example.
That's okay. You can have multiple experiments being
Yeah,
referenced.
if you don't mind that, please.
Yeah, you can have insulin and vitamin C, scurvy, and
Example,
diabetes.
plural.
So
Yeah, independent variable, dependent variable examples. Not so that right, exact words. Independent variable, dependent variable.
thank you.
Yeah, so acidosis. Yeah, that would be an effect. Then cause would be a lack of insulin. Yeah,
Okay.
that's one.
Have you said-
Scurvy, that would be another one. That would be an effect. Vitamin C, lack thereof, cause.
Salt, density, egg, water.
And
calm little
ship
moments.
going over the horizon.
That's
Cause curvature of the Earth.
Sorry, what's your question?
And what's the independent variable of that?
I'm just stating a fact.
He said something about the cause being the curvature of the Earth.
Was your statement of fact that ships go over the horizon?
Yeah.
They can't go over the arbitrary position where the sky meets the ground. It's not an actual position. You can't go over a not actual position. That's not a possibility. It's a malformed statement of fact. Definitely not a statement of fact because it's impossible.
He doesn't know the
no,
three
you can. I
criteria
mean,
of an
the
independent variable
the
either.
horizon is the apparent place where the sky meets the ground. So yeah, it can go over that apparent position. Definitely. I mean, I can show you a GIF right now of that happening.
Okay. Before you do that, 1 second. Before you do that, there are 3 criterion for an independent variable. We just mentioned one because that's all we needed to debunk you. But there are 3 criterion for an independent variable. Number 1, it's your cause or the presumed cause of the effect. Right? Number 2, it has to be variable or be able to be varied and manipulated by the researcher or the investigator. And number 3, it has to demonstrably exist. Thanks.
Chris, if you don't care why you're here, bro.
Oh, I don't care about this independent variable, dependent variable game that John likes to.
Yeah, are you saying it's a game?
It's called science.
What are the 3 constituent parts of a scientific experiment?
Don't
This
know.
is a game. It's science that we're discussing when we talk about the independent and dependent variables. The
Is
reason.
it-
Go
What's
ahead,
your
please.
credential? Are you a scientist?
No, we're not the ones who assert science.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Well done.
Well, he asked me if I was a scientist. I am retired.
Right. What did you used to do, John?
None of your business.
Oh, that's convenient.
Yep.
Chris,
So just I used to be a scientist, but I'm not going to tell you what that field was because
I don't need to tell you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Get something in my.
Oh, this is a fallacy
Chris.
I learned about recently. This is called it's not a historic. What's it called? A genetic fallacy.
A genetic fallacy.
That's correct.
That's when, like, your parents were complete morons too, and you became. It's all in the gene.
Well, that's loosely the basis of it, but no. So
No, you didn't use therefore.
No, so if the source of the information, let's pretend for the sake of argument, somebody who is completely retarded points at the grass and says that grass is green. Yeah. Now, you've got 2 choices at that point. You can say, well, that guy's retarded. Or you can say, yes, that's correct. Now, if you were to say, well, that guy's retarded, that would be a genetic fallacy. Now, in this instance, you're asking for John's credentials, which makes absolutely no difference to the statements he makes. That's a genetic fallacy.
No, if John's claiming he's a scientist and a retired scientist at that, then it would be nice to know what he was doing. What his occupation was, what his qualifications
Do you mind
are.
if I answer that for you?
What
He was
field?
establishing cause and effect relationships with systematic experimentation based on a hypothesis.
At Safeway. I'm sorry, what?
He's performing systematic experimentation to establish cause and effect relationships based on a hypothesis. It's called.
It just sounds like word salad to me. Why don't you just tell me? I worked as X in this company Y, and this is what I did. These were my duties. I studied at this university. I got this qualification, and yeah. That kind of stuff would be nice, even just a little bit. I'm not asking for his CV or
He'll draw
anything.
allegiance with you, Chris. He just said he's a fraud. That's why he's saying what you're trying to imply, Chris, but just much more overtly.
Let's start with you, Chris.
What? What do you mean?
What are your qualifications?
I'm not a scientist.
Then why you go around asking other people what their qualifications are?
Because
who are
John
you to
claimed
ask
he's a
other
scientist.
people? He never has
He claimed he's a scientist.
He has never claimed that.
He just did.
He's retired.
No,
he did.
Can I ask you a question,
He's a
Chris?
retired scientist.
Chris is right.
Chris.
Right.
Ah, hold on. Chris is correct. He did just claim that. Yes, he said he's retired. That's correct, Chris.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Chris,
Yes.
Chris.
remember you said you checked. Look, sorry, is that chocolate?
You're very
Who went
quiet.
first, Brian or Chocolate?
Sorry,
you have to
Chris.
fight that amongst yourselves.
Sorry.
No, go ahead,
Chris,
bro. Go
remember
ahead.
you said when you picked out the independent and dependent variable example on Google? You said you said
Yeah.
you said time. You said Google told you time was a dependent or an independent variable.
I think it was dependent. Yeah.
Was it independent? Was it independent? You said independent. Time and something else was independent variable.
Age.
Time and age. Yeah, I can't find anything there about that concern, and I'm using the same search term as you.
Okay. Well, I mean,
You'll
I
find it.
can post
You'll
a
find
link
it. You'll
and-
find citations with
Yeah,
time as an
please.
independent variable, but they're wrong. Demonstrably so.
Yeah, everyone's wrong. And
Declaration.
John's right because he's a
okay,
retired
okay.
scientist.
No
but
worries.
won't tell
Do
us
you want an
what,
explanation of
his
why?
field was, what
Okay,
his
fine.
qualifications
Chris,
are. But
Chris.
just take his word for it because
Chris, I'm asking, would you like an explanation of why time is not a viable independent variable, as opposed to just, no, well, yeah, if we don't explain, it's just a hand wave, right? Well, do you want an explanation of why?
well, I mean, you can if you want, Nathan, but I don't really care. But
Okay.
yeah, I mean, sure, knock yourself out if you
So
want.
then why do you
stroke
ask?
each other.
Why do you ask questions and then you get the answer and people tell you, and then you say you don't care? I don't get it, bro.
No, someone asked me what an independent variable was. I said I don't know, so I'll look it up. I looked it up and I found it. Excuse me, I found an example, but that example's apparently wrong. I don't particularly care, but
What's your
if
source?
you guys want to stroke each other's egos, it's fine by me.
Then why
Okay.
you're
Well, what
here?
is your source?
We've already covered this.
Because I don't know.
We've covered this.
Why is anyone here?
We've covered this. The source
Oh my God.
is incorrect. And obviously, that's going to
Yeah,
cause
that's
disdain
fine.
amongst the person that's gone and got the source. It's going to piss Chris off, right? It says that it's time. Well, you're saying no. Well, that's unreasonable. I understand Chris's position. Why'd be, whatever the word is, apathetic in this regard. I understand. But I'm asking if you'd like an explanation of why we say it's not a reasonable or viable independent variable. His answer is I don't care. If that's the case, then, well, okay. Who cares then?
Not particularly. Not particularly.
Okay. No
Okay.
worries.
What else you got?
So how's the weather over there?
Oh, the weather here. Well, in Scotland, it's really close actually. It's like 18 degrees, but it's quite cloudy, so I think it's going to be humid again. But
Are you
not
from,
as bad
I
as
didn't
it
know.
was.
I didn't know
like a
you were
couple
from
weeks ago.
Scotland. Are you from Scotland?
You having a laugh?
Yes.
Yeah, bro. Good. That's cool.
Yeah.
Suppose it's like if someone was from
You
deep south.
didn't know I
you'd
was from
recognise
Scotland,
that.
John?
I did not
No.
know. No, I did not.
What? The accent didn't
I
give it
thought
away.
my accent would give it away,
No,
but you
it's
know.
like we wouldn't pick up on someone having a deep South accent necessarily, but yet to the people in America, they're going to go, "Wow, that guy's
You're
got a really
right.
thick
That's
accent."
true. That not
a lot of us
necessarily, like,
Americans are
yeah.
horrible with accents, to be honest.
But
I
yeah,
mean, I've
That's
watched,
cool.
you know,
That's
not that
cool.
care really, but from
That's really cool. Is it?
Wikiversity, I
Do you
posted
guys
you know,
like
an
have?
article
I'm
for the
sorry, I
independent
was
variable,
talking.
which
Is my mic working?
Yes, it
oh,
is.
I'll get a phone call. I'll be back shortly.
Fun.
You were saying, John?
Dun, 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 dun. Do-da-dee-da.
You were
didn't end
saying,
up
John?
having 4 more hours with the dick.
4 more
Under
hours.
pressure.
What were
I
you
was
gonna
just going to
say,
ask him
John?
what part of Scotland, because I know there's different parts,
Nothing, he was
and
just
they're
lumping
kind of very patriotic in Scotland.
Oh,
Did I
we-
get that? Am I incorrect?
Yeah, we don't term it that way. Well, the English don't. We just say Scotland.
William Wallace.
Go ahead.
Scottish right.
They may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom. Love
Our
that.
freedom. You got to pronounce the R correctly.
We get through all of Ranty's questions. He's disappeared to get tea, and he probably hasn't come back. And I haven't put the questions back up. Did we cover them all?
My God, I
I
just
think
got
it was
some
one
tea.
left.
It took me less than 2 minutes. I got ice in it. Oh, we drink our tea here in America, by the way.
Yeah, we drink our tea too. We also eat it though.
ET also though. Which,
Yeah, you
I
eat
spit
tea
it
and
all
then
over
you
the
phone
computer
home,
desk.
don't you?
Right, just so it's in this show. So we've got. I'll probably keep the show going for another 25 minutes or so. But question
Sweet.
10. Right, we've got. Let's put it up so it's clearer. Any evidence of same direction star trails on both sides of the equator?
We already I came in late on that one. Remember, we killed that one. But go ahead.
Or I'm asking so someone else can address it.
Okay.
I might, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is that okay?
No. Yeah, go ahead.
There's a thing online that I watched. It's a guy in South America, just on the equator, and he's up at 4,000, over 4,000 something feet, 4,000 something feet or 4,000 something meter. But he's up pretty high. But he took 900 photographs over the course of a whole night, and he shows the whole sky. He's looking straight into in a straight line from the equator, straight into where Sigma Octantis is on his left, and straight into where Polaris is on his right. Just directly, like they're literally over the. They were literally over the horizon.
Yes.
He could see the whole sky. It was all moving in their own direction, and I don't even know why that's even in there. Like,
Well, how would that make
I mean,
any
you
sense?
can't have that
on
on a globe. That was one of the things I had in my last presentation at Ranty's. You can't have that on a globe. You shouldn't be able to see both Sigma Octantis and Polaris at the same time from an elevated position on the equator.
Indeed.
So yeah, that's totally wrong.
There's documented person in the British Navy. I think he's in the British Navy. I'd have to go check it. That he's seen. Was it Polaris and the Southern Cross from 13 degrees south latitude?
Yeah, I believe that's possible.
I'd have to go track that down. I have that. That's 2015 stuff. I'd have to go snatch it up. Has anyone heard that before?
Yes, I've heard that before.
I haven't heard it, no.
Across my perusings of Flat Earth. I've certainly
Oh,
heard
I
that.
got it right here. Look, isn't that fate?
Guys,
Got
has this
it right.
been streamed anywhere?
I got it right here.
this hasn't been
It's
streamed,
from the national government of New Zealand. It's documented. It's cited. Captain Edward Gillett stated that he has observed the same thing between the 12th and 13th degrees south of latitude. of south latitude. So let's get the context here. It is Polaris and the Southern Cross. Yep, I was correct. Yep.
Can you please post that in the Discord? If you
where you
can
at?
See the,
He's sticking in the Discord, he said.
Discord. Discord?
You can see the
Yeah.
Southern Cross as far as 30 degrees north.
1 second, I'll get it in Discord.
Well, I've been looking for that evidence.
Yeah, you can
for a
see it
long time.
from
That's what they
Canary
say.
Islands in Spain.
Hold on, this guy's challenging it. He's saying he's looking for that evidence, but potentially his next sentence might be, but he hasn't found any.
I'll put it in a live stream. I'll put it in there right now.
Thank you.
Oh, Xanax in there.
Hold on. The guy who was just talking in Discord that said, I've been looking for that evidence. Please, can you continue that sentence?
Yes, I've been looking for that evidence of being able to see from north celestial observations from below the equator, so to speak, or past the equator. DeBay claimed it and gave some citations, but I wasn't able to verify those. And he claimed it as far down as 22 degrees south, I want to say.
No. I don't know whether Eric DeBay did this. I put it in. Are you in Discord?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, I just posted it in a live stream.
What I said was that you can see the Southern Cross, according to the official story, you can see the Southern Cross between 26 and 30 degrees north. But if you Google...
Hey, I got something to add to that. I'm sorry for interrupting. Go ahead.
John,
sorry,
can you also post that in Skype?
Hold on, Owen. Go ahead, Brian. Was it Brian?
Yes.
Yeah. If you Google, because I tried to find this, because this was part of my last presentation. If you Google, I tried every different way I could for 2 weeks to find out how far north can Sigma Octantis be seen. And it's not possible. They won't tell you how far north you can see Sigma Octantis.
I don't know. You just put
Hey, I'm getting a loud
They will tell you,
beeping. Stop!
Someone has
Someone's flatlining. Quick, get the crash cart.
Jeez.
Clear! Travis! Clear!
What about this time not being an independent variable? Because
Quality of tools as Harbor Freight as at Walmart, right?
Somebody's talking about being at Walmart. Mute if you're not talking.
Well, I'm glad
Hello?
I came here because you were already here. I had to meet Casey. I went to his house.
Jeez, oh man,
Let's listen to this. This is interesting.
If he's going to be like considerably late, then go handle that floor and finish that floor.
The hell is it?
Great.
Who is that?
I muted him. It's Travis.
Oh, guys, so I had to take a phone call. So you were about to tell me why time is not an independent variable?
Said you weren't interested. We rounded that out ages ago.
Yeah, but it's just that I googled is time an independent variable, and it says, and this is the feature snippet, right? They call it the feature snippet from Google. If time is one of your variables, it is the independent variable. Time is always the independent variable. The other variable is a dependent variable. In our example, time is an independent variable, and distance is the
Google a
dependent
scientist?
variable.
Why are you rumpusing him?
No, but generally Google is correct. I mean, like if you ask it something, you usually get, it's usually a good source of information.
Okay, no worries. Yeah. Do you want to know, or did you just want to assert what Google says? Can we challenge that? Or
Well,
are you not interested?
I want to know why time is not an independent variable from.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I don't. Google may be a retired scientist, but I'm not sure.
The key word is
okay.
variable.
I'll have a
Can
bash.
you vary time?
Yeah.
Right, go for it. Tell me why time's not an independent variable.
According to your
I'm all
source, time is
I'm going
always
to take
the...
a boy when I have a chance. I'll be back in again tomorrow.
Thanks, Brian.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
According
Take
to
care.
your
Bye.
source,
Bye.
time is always the independent variable. Well, that would imply, given that the independent variable is independent, that the answer to all questions in regards to any scientific inquiry ever, the answer is time.
No, I don't think that's fair.
Without time, there is no entropy.
Guys, please, can you contain yourselves? Do you want to read out your source
I believe that's
again?
a straw man, Pharisee.
Trying to have a conversation
He
here.
didn't say therefore.
I'm trying to have a conversation. Do you want to read your citation again where it says that time is always the independent variable?
In this
I think he's
example,
trying to
yes.
choke John with comedy.
So in this example,
Obviously, in this example, Nathan, come on.
Yes.
Come on.
Your
Come on.
example where time is an independent variable, it's always the independent variable in your
In
example.
this example. Come on.
Yes.
You know what? You know.
Yes, you don't need
this
to keep
example. Come on.
repeating in this example. We've clarified that. Thank you. So in this example, time is always the independent variable. Now, yes, thank you. Given that an independent variable is independent on its own, alone, singular. I hadn't quite finished. Yeah, you don't need to nod along while I'm in the middle of a sentence. Thank you. That would imply, if time is always the sole, singular, one, independent variable, then it is always the cause of all things. So scurvy, like the example I gave earlier, what's the cause of that? You say, time. Well, no, it's not, is it? Yeah, time isn't the cause of scurvy. But you can I hadn't finished, Chris. You seem to be getting triggered because I'm absolutely demolishing this nonsense from Google. But you're interrupting me while I'm doing so. So do you want to put a lid on it, mate, while I finish, or not? You seem very interested now. I'll just point that out. So interested that you're going to talk while I'm talking. So, given that in this example from Google that is wrong, it implies that it's always the independent variable. But when you actually go through the scientific method, time, which is a concept, isn't actually the cause of certain effects, or any effects, because it's not real. It's a concept. The conceptual medium of time isn't going to cause anything. And in your example, it causes everything. This is nonsense, and that is why. I thank you.
Yes, it's a derivative.
Okay.
You can't vary it.
Bravo, well done. I'm unconvinced, but you debunk Google. I mean,
cause of scurvy time.
Get that's published.
Cause of scurvy time.
Well, I mean, just like I mean, if you want to get rid of your
you're not going to get listened to. Hand waves, maybe. Right, I'm asking a supplementary question, given that you're not convinced, but it's not going to get listened to, maybe. So, cause of scurvy time, right?
You need some more citrus fruit in your diet, and that scurvy, like I said, will clear
sorry.
right
So
up.
you're saying independent sole cause, not time, but it's always the cause, Chris. This seems to be illogical, doesn't it?
That seems to be a straw man of the example that I gave.
It seems to be you're holding two mutually exclusive truths at the same time. That's what it seems to be, Chris.
It can't always be the
just said you
cause.
need some more vitamin C.
Yeah,
Chris,
it always be the cause, and not sometimes be the cause.
It's just a dependent variable.
Just let me summarize it once. It can't always be the cause, as asserted by Google, and sometimes not be the cause, because those two things are mutually exclusive. If it's always the cause, it's always the cause. In this case, causing scurvy.
Did you see the what I put in the chat box, the live stream chat box for this example? They provided a handy little chart. Gave speed and time.
Speed, eh?
And in this example,
hold on, from the science fair,
time
from math. That's not from Google. Do you understand that Google is not a source?
Of course.
Then why did you
but
say it was
as
from
the Google
This
featured
isn't from
snippet?
Google. What is
because
your
it was
source,
the
sir?
Google featured
So what's the
snippet.
source? What if it's not from Google? Where's it from?
It's from sciencefair.math.iit.
Oh my God, he
I'll
just
post the link.
screenshotted it. I hit the link. I couldn't get anything.
There you go. There's the link.
I'm a little bit confused.
Nathan, how do you convert meters into kilometers again? I forgot.
Just majoring on the minors. Is this a minor incorrect statement that I've made that you're now focusing on, given that you've declared that time is always the independent variable? It's
right,
not only
no, but you've
not
obviously
only majoring on the minors.
featured
It's
snippet.
also
Well done.
a red herring
How do you
fallacy.
convert meters into kilometers?
It's a red herring
If I have
fallacy.
1,000 meters, how many kilometers?
Red herring fallacy.
Red herring fallacy.
That's correct. Yes, you're a good parrot.
Alert the fucking press. It's a red herring fallacy.
Oh, come on.
Come on now.
Come on.
So
I've got
everything
1,000
you
meters.
said so far.
How many kilometers do I have?
Everything you've said so far has been wrong.
Right, but he hasn't lost his temper so far. So
Yeah, that's why it's been
Still-
a reasonably cordial
I
conversation.
never lose my temper.
All right.
Oh,
let's
I
keep
can
it
get
like
you
that.
to lose it.
You go ahead, try.
I'm losing the will to live.
So anyway,
Yeah,
so
you
time's
know I've
not,
nothing but contempt for
so
you.
time's not an independent variable, because if it was, it would always be the cause as asserted, and that obviously isn't the case. So
Right, I know.
if
you
I
know,
may,
that's
Nathan,
done and dusted.
one could-
We've put a pin in
Okay.
that. We're
Thank
moving
you.
on to meters and kilometers now. So
No, we're not moving on.
I've 1,000 meters.
I've got
Nathan.
he interrupted
Why
a point
not?
that I wanted to make.
This is a chance to put on the
Look,
record for
I want to
Nathan
actually
to acknowledge
complete
that
this
you do in fact
discussion about
tried
time.
to
if I
get
can.
kilometers.
Before Chris came back and rudely interrupted, I was going to add something to that citation from the National. Can I do that?
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, the real cowbell here is that citation, the gentleman was writing as J.T.B. Dines, who wrote the citation about seeing, or Captain Edward Gillett seeing Polaris and the Southern Cross at 13th degrees south latitude. That's not the real cowbell just yet. The real cowbell, interestingly, is that somebody is responding to all his claims above. It's a newspaper article. And this gentleman is named James Abmit Parnell. And guess who doesn't mention?
Sorry, what did you say? Guess who isn't mentioned?
No, guess what he doesn't mention in his rebuttal to the gentleman that claimed that Captain Edward Gillett seen Polaris and the Southern Cross at 13 degrees south latitude. Guess what the gentleman in response didn't mention?
You'll have to put us out of our misery. Go on. What didn't he mention?
He didn't challenge him.
In other words, he didn't
Nice.
say that's not possible. You can't have seen
Oh,
those
that's a
stars.
really good wizard
Exactly.
trick. That's a good wizard trick.
Isn't it good? I thought you'd like that. I'll be in the area all week.
I missed it. What was it?
Yeah, I was about to summarize it again. But what-
Object, but don't actually.
So someone's
disclaim it.
challenging the assertion that you can see these stars that shouldn't be seen because you're on the wrong side of the reified sphere model. Now, the person's, I don't know what the challenge that they did provide was, but the point John's making is that what they didn't challenge was that was possible.
It's brilliant.
Okay.
They didn't say, no, you can't see whichever, the Southern Cross or Polaris in this example, from this particular geographical location. Impossible on a sphere. That wasn't the rebuttal.
It's red herring of the finest quality.
What was the rebuttal then?
Sir, seeing that Mr. J.T.B. Dines has asked for proof of the Earth being a globe, I beg to forward the following from Elementary Physical Geography by Andrew Finlatter, Master of the Arts, LLD. Here's the quote. In the following way, it can be shown not only that the surface of the Earth is curved, but how much is curved in a given length. At the edge of a straight canal, set up a telescope T. Here follows a diagram with its center below the water, and at the distance of 2 miles, plant a staff ED with a mark at D, all 4 feet above the level of the water. Now, direct the axis of the telescope to the point D, and midway plant another staff E. Where the line of vision meets, you get the drift. He doesn't say anything. And then he goes into constructing of canals. Is that good?
Put him on the spot or anything, but question denial. Do you have something to ask or say or comment on?
Did anyone hear what I just said or no?
Yeah, we all heard it. I was saying, wow.
Yeah, we all heard it. I've been taking notes.
Taking it in for a second. Yeah, so basically he offered up a red herring, basically, the answer to a different question, or the answer to a different problem which isn't being presented in regards to that model. He's saying, if you want to prove you're on a sphere, look, here's how you do it. Well, that's not what I'm asking. I'm saying, if I'm on a sphere, how is it possible to see these stars? And he doesn't address that in any way, shape, or form.
Nope. It's right beneath it, right in the. If you could see the link, I put it in on. I put in Master Bees on Skype, and I put it in the live stream in Discord. Thank you.
Share it on Skype so I can present it to my audience.
Yeah. 1 second.
Nathan, what do you make of the Friday night debates on the 24/7 server?
Don't know what that is. Sorry.
That's fight
Don't.
nights, man. As soon as I get some time, I'm going over there.
No, not share it. Actually, screen share it.
Oh, I'm sorry. 1 second, please. Okay.
So they have this format where we bring like Flat Earth and Globe Earth teams. I've only been on once. I don't know. It was okay, I suppose. I didn't say much. And you can raise an objection, and no one can interrupt you for a full minute. I think people get too many objections. Like I think it should be limited, but nevertheless, it's a reasonably good format. It's on tonight. I think it's on at 10 o'clock our time.
It's Friday Night Fights.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Friday
it'll
Night
be 10 o'clock
Fights. Yeah,
UK
John
time.
knows.
I listened to it last week when I caught Zanuck pulling up the same arguments we debunked here on that platform.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to do.
I was too busy
Today will be Spurs.
I was too busy last couple of weeks with my channel, but don't worry, I'm
What do
coming.
you guys make of this fucking pressure thing that Spurs is spouting?
Total bollocks. Anyway, right. The Earth is a globe. This is the citation that John's just read from. So this is the posted original. What is it? An article?
Yes, it's from the National Library of New Zealand, and what's the dates in here? That's a good question. It's the Observer, Volume 9, Issue 551 from 20 July 1889. And there's Science Buddies Science Fair, Chris MCM's source, not Google. So let's go back here. So you can look at the London Times. This is J.P. Dines, this guy right here. J.T. from Tamasia, I don't know what that means, can look up the London Times of May 13th, 1862. In the Naval and Military Intelligence, he may read as follows, and this is an line citation. On the 19th of April in latitude 23.53, longitude 35.46, Captain Wilkins reports that the Southern Cross and the Polar Star were both distinctly visible at midnight. Now, he didn't say north or south up here, but that's all right. In the event of this being considered as an error of some kind, I may state that Captain Edward Gillett states that he has observed the same thing between the 12th and 13th degrees south of south latitude. So, if you take these two statements, this gentleman up here was north latitude, 2353 north, because he juxtaposed it. Why, if there were any curvature such as we read so much about, the whole thing would be an impossibility instead of a well-authenticated fact. So he goes on with another point. However, here's the gentleman below. And his name is James it says Abmit Parnell. And it's what I read before. About the telescope and straight canal and, all that nonsense right here. And he mentions nothing about what the gentleman said above.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. Oops.
That's okay. We're good.
Okay, cool.
And anything else? Did we? Oh, I forgot. Anon. Is Anon still here?
Yeah. Hey, Anon.
He's
driving
on
at the
mute.
moment, so he might not be able to get to his mic quickly. Just give him a few seconds.
So
Is he taking his videos?
Do you
Is he
think you'll
taking his
come
videos back?
tonight, John? Is Riley still around?
Yeah, Riley's still here.
I gotta go to work.
Oh, and hello.
Arwen as well. Yeah, how about
All of
Arwen,
us actually have
Anthony,
jobs, you know.
John, and Nathan? Why don't the four of you guys show up to this fucking Friday night fight?
I promise you, I will show up. It won't. I doubt that it'll be tonight. I'm too busy putting together my channel. It's had my time for the past couple weeks. I've been trying to put it together, but don't worry.
All right.
Save a spot for me.
I might not be there tonight either.
I told them already you're gonna stop by. They're hype about it.
Yeah.
I'm not that much into fighting, really.
It's not really a fight.
It's not in the bit. It's not. It's quite formal, Arwen. It's not. You know, there's no people get warnings if they get out. You know, if they get out of line. You know, you can't shout and fucking, you know, call people a cunt and all that. Well, I mean, you can if you want, but you'll get a warning for it. And if you get like more than 2 warnings, I think
You're not exactly making a good point here, but
I'll be on for about 30 seconds.
And it will be on the channel Dr. Science. That's the guy's channel. He's from the 24/7 Discord.
Science.
Oh God, is it
yeah.
a Discord
It's coming
thing?
from the Discord server 24/7.
Yeah, those are those. It's those guys. Yeah, but it's on. It's not on that channel. It's on his channel, which is Dr. Science.
I don't know. Just post a link in the Master B and I'll take a look.
Yeah, well.
Are you not on the 24/7 Discord?
No, Arwen thinks Discord's of Satan.
Yes.
Oh, what? Well, then, if you don't go on Discord, Arwen, I'm afraid you cannot participate. So you'll have to bow down to Satan and accept him as your Lord.
Point. That's
I mean,
why
I have heard your magic is very powerful, so you know you might have a chance you could defeat him.
No. I tried it before. I know what the result of it is. I'm still.
Oh, you fought Satan before?
Yeah, I did.
What happened?
A lot of stuff, and a lot of build up.
Right, so how did it begin? Like how?
It was a good first
And
few
delusions
rounds.
eventually broke, and then I felt really, really crappy.
Satan got a few jabs in. Arwen got a few jabs in. Ref called Arwen for punching.
Yeah,
below
but I
the
mean,
belt.
like, did they show up in person? And what did they look like?
Yeah, it was full on, man.
What?
No, come on.
Pay-per-view.
Were you there as well, Nathan?
What are we talking about?
I was promoting it, man. I had Megatron in the wings waiting to take Arwen on if he won.
Aye.
What?
Fucking hell. So, Arwen, how did that Satan manifest?
What are you talking about?
Magnetic
I don't
self.
think Nathan is taking this seriously.
It's the magnetic self. I totally.
Right, Arwen, so when
totally
you battled with
disoriented.
Satan, what happened? I mean, like how did it start?
Well, it started by basically a lack of insight. Growing up in a liberal family, and that's usually that's a good way to get there.
Right,
just
so
having that natural
a lack of
repulsion
insight,
of
what did he
Christianity early
just
on.
appear before you and go, Arwen, you have a lack of insight. You must battle me. Like, is that how did it go down? Like, you know.
Was that your Satan voice?
What?
Yeah.
No, Satan. That's not how Satan works at all.
Right, well, how did it work?
He's a seducer.
He seduced you. Did they get to first base?
What's first base?
There's other forms of seduction besides sexuality.
Sorry,
What's
right,
first?
sorry.
I want to know what
in a
first base in
platonic
Scotland
way?
is.
He will sound like you live in a sphere. That's what.
Right. So what did you vanquish him, or did he defeat you, or did you defeat him?
That's
I mean,
a red
like,
herring.
I'm trying to get an idea of what actually went down here.
That's a red herring. I
I
asked you what's first
entertained
base in
him
Scotland.
for a while in the megalomaniacal view that I would be able to tame it and just, think that I
Objection!
can handle things. And then I walked out again because I figured out that I couldn't.
Objection.
And then you broke out your proton pack and trapped them in the
Wait a
ghost
second.
trap.
Oh, wait a second.
No,
Is
I
my mic
basically
working?
just declared like, okay, the act is over. I'm not going along with this. I don't care for the consequences. Do whatever you need. I'm gonna do what I need to do. And yeah, I'm.
My mic working?
That's it.
Hey, hello. Objection.
Hey, what's up, John?
Okay.
You gotta wait for Friday Night Fights for that, John.
Okay. Now listen. I had an objection, and we just kept going. I want to know what first base in Scotland is.
Well, it's kissing, right?
What's second base? Come on. I love triples. I can't wait for the next one.
Yeah. I thought it's kissing.
That's first base. What's second base?
You know what it is?
I don't know. In
It's
Scotland, it could be
fucking
something
having
different.
a feel, innit?
Having a feel?
Yeah.
Second base?
Aye.
Well, maybe you got different bases. I don't know.
What do you think second base is?
Not feeling.
That's a fallacy. That's shifting the burden of proof. All right, this is really devolved.
Yeah. So Arwen, right? So Satan was seducing you, and you went, "No, I'm not having that. No, I do not put out on the first date." Right? And you're like, and then he's like, "Well, I must battle you now."
I'm not
And you're
gonna
like,
let you
"What?
make a
what?"
farce out of this shit. No, that's not how it works at all. Nope. It's not a joke.
I'm just trying to. I mean, like, I'm just trying to get an idea of how this battle took place. Like, you know, you said you battled Satan. I just want to know.
It went through an overall mindset and people being hypnotized by that shit, having pretty extreme things available to them and plans and lack of soul that provided a cohesion. And then they seduce people to basically let go of their entire person in order to join and become part of that power structure, which is an insane deal because, as with all of these
got
devilish
into that?
contracts, you lose the ability to actually enjoy whatever you're going to be attaining. And I knew that pretty early on.
Like,
but I
so
was
he
ignorant.
offered you. He basically offered you like he offered you money. What? He offered you power.
They offered me all kinds of things, but I didn't take anything. So they
Like, was it like did
to
he
take
say it to you? Was it a contract? I mean, like, what form did these offers take?
Dude, some of this stuff wasn't even in the normal 3D dimension consciousness, okay? So there's some really weird shit going on out there. There's like wizards that just know how to freaking use extra dimensional shit and everything. And it's all pretty surreal as you go through it. And they use that. They use the confusion from the experience people experience in order to help them manipulate the individual to whatever goal they want to attain. They're psychopaths.
Wow. Like, I mean, like, if it's not in their normal three-dimensional space, how did you manage to see it? I mean, like where did they appear? Did you actually see the face of Satan, or like? I mean, what form did he
never
take?
identified a uniform creature named Satan, but I have seen actual red devils. Yes.
A uniformed creature, like he wore a uniform, or
I have absolutely no conviction that Satan is an entity. I think it is a collective spirit. I don't know about Lucifer though.
what? Lucifer and Satan are two different people, or two different entities?
I don't know. I don't think Satan is an entity, but Lucifer may be one. Maybe a
Satan and Lucifer are two different beings.
What about Kaiser
Have you encountered
That's the
Lucifer?
issue. Satan is not a being.
He's not right. Is Lucifer a being?
Maybe, yeah.
Have you encountered Lucifer? Arwen, have you encountered Lucifer?
Well, no, not in person. No, absolutely not. Thank God. But I was definitely name dropped. He was an issue out there. Yeah, this is all super ethereal experience stuff, so it is, yeah, doesn't make any sense to most people. It's all fine.
Like, see, like, I heard, and I mean, I'm very grateful. I heard you saved the world in 2001. Was that anything to do with Satan, or like, was he trying to do shit
Yeah, I'm
to you?
not gonna entertain that, but yeah, that's really nice.
Well, thanks for saving the world. I do appreciate.
Yeah, so do I.
Sincere.
Because I'm still here to enjoy it.
I'm going to grab another drink. I'll be back.
Have fun with that.
Alrighty then. Well, I'm glad we cleared that up.
Great
Yep.
stuff.
Any more
Makes
for any
flat
more?
Earth look
Is that it?
stupid when you start talking about good and evil and stuff. Flat Earth becomes meaningless.
Hey, Dawn.
Hey, Don.
Hey.
Different subject. So, yeah, when talking about a different subject.
No,
that subject
it
becomes
doesn't
meaningless.
become meaningless though. It's definitely a part of it, but
Oh,
it's
okay.
a part in the more intellectual regions. That's where that's at. But that's not the only thing.
Hey, Don, do you believe you are spinning in an infinite space?
Well, I don't know if it's infinite, but I believe I'm on a spinning planet in space. Yeah.
So that makes you meaningless, right?
In some ways, I think it's meaningless. Yeah, but
All right.
that's not my full worldview. I think there is a point.
All right. Isn't that sad? You believe you're meaningless?
I think it's subjective if you find meaning or not. I don't believe Big Bang and evolution and we came from dust and it means nothing. That's absurd. But I don't think we have some great role to play in the universe. Like, not some massive great role, just average.
Profound.
Don't ever get a job as a motivational speaker, Don.
I'd just like to say, I think Arwen is a mystical, deep being, and his mind stretches far beyond you other boys.
Oh, we know. We actually fear Arwen quite a lot.
He's very powerful. Do you want to see a meme? Arwen, is it okay if I post that? It's got.
Arwen, can you remember?
Sharing memes.
Can you remember the saying? The clash, bang, click, clack, clock. Let's go, let's grow.
Right, yeah, if we're into sharing memes and stuff, I'm going to round out this after show. So a massive, huge, enormous thank you to all of you who have tuned in on the Nathan Oakley 1980 premiering stream for hopefully smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and all that good stuff. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. I've been Nathan Oakley. Another massive thank you to all of today's debating panel, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!